and Robin Black. We are live. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's me. I'm Mallory Woods. This is Robin Black. We are here for the return of Bellator. Robin, I know you're excited.
Dude, this is crazy. Like, Raymond Daniels is going to join us. I literally, for anybody that has already come on, I'm texting Chael Sonnen, and I'm trying to get him to pop in with us from the desk in Connecticut in the arena. So who knows? I think Chael, that's the kind of guy Chael is. So tweet him and let him know. But now we're going to, Ray will join us. We'll pick his genius brain. We'll take our rudimentary martial arts brains and we'll enjoy the fights and we'll bring people in. But for anybody that's already with us, we're going to like have it, the stream right here, like right there.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Just as a little bit of a preview, when everything goes, we'll just do this and we'll have everything live and we'll be able to comment on everything. And the great thing about this is it'll be totally interactive. So the comments that people, and I see BINK comments already coming in.
Yes.
You know, hey, that's what this type of night is going to be. So we'll be fully interactive, chatting with everybody and everything. And it's going to be a good Friday.
Yeah, man. Like, just look what we're doing here. We're hanging out. We're watching live fights. Like, we weren't doing that a week ago. Nice to see Robin on Bellator. Good move, Elemento 115. Dude, like, you're floating shit in here already. We've been doing this for 1 minute now. We've been doing this for 1 minute. You're already – Johnny Chromatic is hanging out with us. We're going to hang out. It's what? Man, it's like 12 minutes from now. We'll have live fights.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this. It's good to see Bellator back. I mean, I know everybody's been itching for fights and sports and everything. This is just going to be exciting. Like you said, we've got a few surprises that come on up. You've already told me behind the scenes what could happen, and I'm all excited about it myself.
Dude, like I literally was chatting with Chris Cyborg. She said she would pop by. You're probably busy working, but is this just a chat thing? Am I on camera? This is somebody on camera via phone. This is somebody people want. So Rafion Stotts is fighting Caspel in the second fight. And although he could come on just by audio too, right?
Bring him on. Yeah. Could
do audio only. I think anyone who's joining us, they're like, why is Robin talking to his phone? We've got a special guest that's coming on. Could do audio only if you want. Audio only if you want. Trust me, you want to see this dude. He trains with Rafion Stotts, and it's not anyone you think if you like. It's somebody that you'd be very interested to see pop on. So Rafion Stotts trains at Duke Rufus's gym. Caspel is an undefeated prospect. Both of them are great wrestlers who can bang. That's a killer one. I broke both guys down. I did, and I've broken down a bunch of their fights. That's for an undercard fight. That's a sick one.
It's I got a chance to watch a little bit of film on Cass earlier. It's like, whoa, this guy's for real, man. He's it's amazing to see. It's just like when you see fighters that are champions and you get a chance to see them before that time. And a lot of people don't remember those fights before it happened, but this is a chance to see a guy that really has a lot of talent, and his potential to go is very high.
You like the nerdy shit like me, like trying to figure out what's happening behind why something is happening, not just what it is. And so Cass, the one breakdown I did, and I've done a couple, I do instant analysis. I'm going to try to do some tonight where I just whip it up right there and get it out. I was sitting cage side, and both times what he kind of did was he grew up wrestling.
Right.
So yeah, of course he can wrestle, he can grapple, he can try to resist it going to the ground, all of those things. But what he also does is when he's fighting other wrestlers, he anticipates their thinking. So the knee, the one breakdown I did of the knee, Cass is pressuring another high-level wrestler, knowing that guy is going to drop down at some point when he pressures him, and then knows exactly the visual cues to be able to see that happen. So now you don't just have a guy who can wrestle, because it's not that long ago we would just be like, oh yeah, this kid can wrestle, but he's got good hands. Yeah, that's all true. But it's what you're thinking. It's your ability to understand and decipher and decode what you're seeing. And that's what Cass can do, and that's what Rafion Stotts can do. So I'm into this fight. But man, like 3 good undercard fights. 3, I got to say, Big Steve came down. He tested negative for COVID, so they replaced him on the undercard. Did you see that?
I know I didn't catch that earlier. Let's see here.
Yeah. He was facing Rudy, Steve Mowry, and Mowry, if you're watching, he's a like very real young heavyweight prospect, and Bellator has a couple of them. Not so now. Anybody, while you're watching, Mal is choosing these to put up. So when they say my hair is stupid, Mal picked it. But also, not Bellator related, but Robin Black's content is the best thing since sliced bread. Greetings from Swansea, Wales. My mother's from Wales. So I think Mal's just getting me like set here and getting all comfortable that people are liking my shit. And then he's going to hit me with the bad hair and ridiculous comment stuff.
We're seeing all of those comments that are coming up there right now. So you never know. I might pick one that does have see, that's why I went with the hair look that I have. No one's going to talk about that. That is a solid move. And eventually everybody joins me. So I'm fine with it.
In case you think I'm not caffeinated enough, this is not a paid ad, by the way. This is a very tasty caffeinated beverage. It's a Canadian thing. It's not a paid ad. I paid retail for this, but I sure like caffeine when I'm watching fights. Speaking of fights, I think the broadcast is 7 minutes away. We should talk about the main event, brother.
Oh, Sergio Pettis, and let me get my. You know, I love the Pettis brothers. You know, but the opponent you have, that's I don't know which way to call this one. I really don't. I mean, both guys are super solid in the areas, but being a Taekwondo guy, I'm leaning a little bit more to the Pettis guys, but you can't deny Ricky for that, you know?
This is a good time for people who are on here who haven't come from sport martial arts or know your background. You grew up in some of the same full contact kickboxing world as Ray Daniels, right?
Correct.
You came up with him, but from a Taekwondo route.
Correct. It's a Taekwondo route, and it's a lot of sports karate. I've fought Ray for a couple times. You can actually Google my name and Ray, see Ray embarrass me, try to throw cartwheel kicks and everything on, which was like a breakdown that we did not too long ago on our channel. Yeah. But, you know, seeing him develop as a martial artist and seeing him get into professional combat sports has been great. We've seen a couple of the guys that have gone out there and do that. Give a shout out to Dean Barry, who's out there doing his thing for Titan Championship, you know, Titan FC. There, you know, it's a different type of style, you know, to be able to move. And since we work on trying not to be hit whatsoever, but it does give people fits in terms of the footwork. And people say karate style. You know, you want to move in, you want to blitz in, attack, take no damage, and exit. Essentially that's it. It's basic form.
When you watch the Pettis brothers fight, Anthony kind of have a bit of a savage streak in him. Mighty Joe Nolan, my boy. The main event is a tricky one. I mean, here we're going to play around with some of these tropes of sports talk a bit. Truthfully, all fights are difficult to pick. And whenever we do that, whenever we hang out and we chat with each other, this guy's got great takedown defense, but this guy, if he can get it, you know, whenever we do that, that's a sportsism. That's not a real, true scientific approach to trying to predict art. You can't do that. But at the same time, it sure is fun to try, right? We're getting into the hair, but it's starting only with compliments. I see you. I see you, Mallory.
I'm picking some good ones.
Yeah. How do you think Pettis is going to deal with the reach? That's a great question. Talked to Sergio a little bit about it, and his very simple answer was this: everybody I fight has longer reach than me. And who's that little dude? He fought Demetrius Johnson twice. I always do this. I have a trick with memory, and the magician is his name.
John Dodson.
John Dodson. Mm-hmm. So John Dodson, when he fights everyone, he has a 4 or 5 inch reach disadvantage. Mm-hmm. It's not a disadvantage any longer. Yeah, thanks, Joe. If it's every time, it's the norm for him. Mm-hmm. It is normal for him to fight longer reach people. So we could say he goes into every fight with a disadvantage, but it's not a disadvantage. It's the norm.
Right.
It's the norm. But what it does is it creates a particular behavior. Dodson and Pettis, when he fights somebody bigger, must behave in particular ways to be able to reach that person. Mm-hmm. And as a result, there's somewhat of a predictability to their behavior, but it's not a disadvantage if it's always normal. It's just the norm for them, right?
That is correct. And, that is actually something that Raymond touched on last time, because I told him, I said, he's got a teammate who's I'm a short guy. I'm about 5'6", 5'5". And to me, I'm always fighting someone tall. So you're always dealing within that range, and you're not worrying about what if I'm taller than somebody? Well, Ray said, hey, as fighting as a welterweight, and he's, 6'2", 6'1", he says, I prefer to fight the taller guys because they're slower. But when you're always the shorter guy, you learn to deal with that reach. You understand? Now, you're not going to wish yourself taller. It's not going to happen.
No, that's right. And so this is a truth of martial arts, and it's a truth of everything in life. Like, you must acknowledge the truth. You must live with the reality of what is, and then behave appropriately, and in ways that benefit you or give you an outcome or a consequence or a result that you're after. And so if everyone has a longer reach than you, it is not, oh my God, what do I do? He has a long reach. It's just another fight where you're facing a similar thing. So over time, it becomes easier and easier. And I will offer, in the words of Chael Sonnen, I will offer you this. When you face John Dodson, and you have a longer reach, you have the disadvantage of fighting John Dodson, because you're not used to fighting him, but he's used to fighting people like you. Yeah,
that is correct. Yeah. And there was a good question by Mattis. How does Daniel swim with the corded headset? Well, see, the thing is, Ray is so cool. Robin's got earbuds. I'm not getting any earbuds. I got the old headsets right here. So, but you know what? I guarantee he would try it. I guarantee he would try it.
I also want to know, where is Ray Daniels, by the way?
We were
saying as we were getting this thing, but bear in mind, Bellator's YouTube is going to roll in 2 minutes. So once that rolls, we're going to have it here in this stream where we can all watch it. I will add, we will not have the main card. That's going to be on Paramount, which I have on my screen right here. But during that, I'm going to try to get Chael Sonnen up in here to hang out with us from the desk. And that's what I'm working on. Chael, anybody right now, tell Chael that I'm calling him out. I'm actually texting him, but tell him that I'm calling him out right here. That Chael, we want you to come on even for 5 minutes when the main card starts.
If you get Chael on here, that's going to be absolutely. So that's going to be a very good Friday.
I got another buddy. I don't want to say his name because just wanted to know so I can make myself presentable. Still working with quarantine hair, my friend. I'll stop by. See you soon. I guess I can say it now. CM Punk's going to join us for the Rafion Stotts fight. So that's going to be killer. Tell your friends. Anyone who's a fan of CM Punk as a thinker, a performer, a fighter, a wrestler, a whatever. He's a interesting dude and a smart thinker. And CM Punk will join us during the Rafion Stotts versus Cass Bell fight. And I'm going to get some other guests up in here. This is our first party.
This is great. You got to Rolodex this. The digital Rolodex in your phone is just infinite. So I'm impressed every time you'll mess with me. I'm going to get this guy on. That's amazing.
Should I ask George St. Pierre to come in? I'll ask him. I'll wait till I've had 3 coffees and 2 beers later in the paper. And then I'm going to ask.
I'll let you take care of that. I'm looking over at the other screen. We've got the Bellator logo going up. I'm going to go ahead and pop a split screen.
Put it up.
There it is right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Man.
And dude, I was so choked when I found out how we were Pico, Claxton, so stoked for this. When I found out we were going with a very small crew down there, I wanted to be there. But right now, this is super fucking fun. Yes, Robin majored in quarantine hair. This, much like when John Dodson's fighting a taller fighter, it's like everybody he fights, he's ready. I always have quarantine hair. My hair always looks stupid. So this is not new to me.
There you go. If you
look at this
it's
shit.
normal.
It's up. Yeah.
This is great. Bellator over here. Man.
Yeah.
And they are back. This is amazing. Welcome back, Bellator.
Yeah. Yep. So let me say, people were, asking my opinion on stuff, and I do cover. Look at that. That looks good.
Yeah.
That looks real good. Man, and I was chatting with some of the people in operations and the team, man. David, thanks, Robin. This is great. Hey, thank you guys, man. And Mallory, thanks for helping us figure all this stuff out. And also, where's Ray Daniels? By the way,
I just sent a text.
Yeah,
and I'm waiting.
Ray's like our cool friend. We're the dorks compared to Ray. Although Ray, admittedly, is a martial arts nerd in his own right. That's my guy, Chael. And look how far him and Jay are away from each other.
Yeah, they're a whole desk away. This is the world that we live in. I mean, best of health to everybody that is watching and is eager, MMA fan like myself and you. This organization has done a great job in terms of keeping the fighters safe through testing. We have to do it without crowds. So there's the downside of not being able to, attend a live event, but as close as we can get to it. And guess what? Right now, you call him up. There he is himself.
Hey, how you guys doing?
The man himself.
What's happening?
Good to see you guys.
What's going
Ray,
on?
I'm warning you.
Right.
I got all kinds of caffeine in this thing. I got.
There you go. I like your hands in. Wife got me prepared too.
I got water.
How are you, man?
I'm great, brother. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. This is gonna be so fun, eh?
Man, it's great to be back to the real world, at least partially in some way. I've been waiting for Bellator to open back up for some time. I'm even starting to get in shape myself just in case the phone rings. You never know. I got it on standby right here.
Hey, man, for a fight, man. That's good.
I can text Rich Chow right now for you and just tell him what do you think? In September?
Yeah, exactly. They need a sub tonight. Let me know. I'm ready to go tonight.
I'm an 8-hour drive from Connecticut. You got to be a 30-hour drive from Connecticut.
Yeah. It's quite a drive. Quite a drive.
Well, I'll tell you this, Robert. Ray is always ready. I've never seen him, with the exception of after being injured, never been out of shape. He's ready to go at any time, potentially. Yeah. Of course, he wanted time to do a little bit of homework, get the magic going, and make sure the evolution is right and everything. Yeah. But he's ready to go just at any time,
Yeah, I'm always dialed in. I've always trained. Martial arts for me is the way of life with it. So constantly being there, being in shape, being ready to go is just part of my daily regimen. My wife is amazing at getting me up and getting me motivated to go. So it also helps to have a significant partner that is just dialed in, if not even more than I am. So.
And she's getting ready for a fight, maybe in Singapore or somewhere over there. She's keeping.
As you know, we haven't really opened up our borders, so to speak, yet. Yeah. So nobody's going or leaving the country or anything right now. So we're hoping, towards the latter part of the year, if we get everything under control, obviously all over the world. We're hoping. She's still training, she's still fit and in shape and stuff. We got some remodeling going on in our place right now, so she's steering the ship and telling me pretty much what to do, what to go pick up at all times.
Look at this card, guys. So the main event: Jason Jackson and Jordan Meehan. I mean, Ray, you might fight one of those guys in the future.
Yeah. I definitely have my eyes on him. I've actually seen a few of Jason Jackson's fight. He's got really great hands, a very well-rounded and versatile, martial artist. So I'm actually a huge fan of his. I've seen some of his fights. Me too. So I think he's amazing. So I think it's a great card.
Yeah, it sure is. Oh, shit, we're starting. Okay, so Rudy was facing a different opponent, but he did come up negative or I guess positive for COVID. Steve Bowery. Yeah. So Ross is stepping in here on a week, and at heavyweight, you don't have to cut weight, but it's dicey about what kind of shape you're necessarily in.
Yeah, Ross. His record is like 5-4. He's had all knockouts, so I don't think he plans on having last noted fight. I don't think he plans on being in there for a very long time. So all his wins have come by knockout. So I wouldn't imagine he's like, I can do it.
Mallory, what if you were fighting right now? Would you be tipping into heavyweight?
You know what? If I was in, I would definitely be hanging around light heavyweight mark and everything. Yeah. Obviously, I have the frame that I need to be way down in lightweight or even lower. But you know what? COVID's been good to me, and I have been eating all the foods. So
how was the salmon today? You said you were making salmon. How was it?
The salmon was excellent. It was cooked to perfection, as I love to have my salmon done. It's It was good. I had that, a little bit of rice, a little bit of butter on the side of that. It was great lunchtime, good times there.
They said this guy Ross I saw is a black belt in Shotokan, which is actually one of my traditional styles. That I'm a black belt, and I'm actually a 6th degree black belt in Shotokan. Actually, sorry, 7th degree. I forgot I promoted, but black belt Shotokan. So I know he got the fight last minute, but because he's the Shotokan, he's a black belt martial artist. I'm gonna go with him for the win.
I like it how you're sticking with your style, brothers, right there.
Yeah, I gotta stick with my style. It's the roots. You know what I mean? He's gonna have some good power.
Rudy's a big dude, man.
Yeah,
and he grew up wrestling. Yeah, and he grew up wrestling. He's a solid wrestler. I think Northeast. I think he's from the Northeast. I can't recall now whether it's Chael that he has been training with, but he's a dangerous guy. And he was getting ready for Maori is one of these real prospects, like legit. Bellator has some real heavyweight prospects, man.
Oh yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I think Rudy should be able to handle his business today. I mean, he's 6-1, 5 KOs, I believe, 1 submission. Yeah. So he's got a pretty impressive record about himself. And I think he's only lost 1 fight via rear naked choking. If this guy's,
Yeah, that was Tyrell Fortune, and Tyrell Fortune is another one of the. You watch, man. That's going to be between him and Big Steve. One of them will be a champion, world champion within a couple of years. Tyrell is the real thing, and Rudy did pretty well with him. So Rudy's a dangerous guy. But you're right. Like somebody's probably going to separate somebody else from their consciousness within 3 or 4 minutes.
I would definitely. We call it 10 toes up sometimes. The traditional karate bow.
Yeah,
right
I was gonna say I like that.
I gotta give him a bow back to him. You know,
that's right. While we're getting things served up, Robin, I might have to. It looks like we lost Facebook. I'm going to work on that in the background, but you guys go ahead. Sure. Continue to indulge.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. I will, Ray. I'm going to get some footage from these guys tonight, sent to my phone, and I'm going to whip it up in my iPad and draw it up, and then send it back, and we'll put it right in here. And we'll play around with it.
I like it. I like where your head's at, Brad.
Yeah, we can literally go and dissect some of this stuff like in real time. The technology now, what can be done is crazy. So Bellator's back, man. This is real. Both guys right hand forward.
Let's see here.
So your guy, right hand forward, we presume he's actually right-handed.
Both southpaws. Oh, he switched to orthodox up, and then there's the wrestling.
Man, that's a knee. You don't want to be
Ross has got some good movement for a big guy. You don't see heavyweights kind of move like that. I mean, if it lasts. Ooh, nice. Oh.
These guys are just walking in and then throwing the, you're right. He's light on his feet for
right. Look at the bounce going on. I see.
Yeah, you don't see too many heavyweights with a bounce like that,
Mm-hmm. And he's bouncing, throwing low kicks too. This is impressive. And there's another nasty low kick.
Oh, nice low kick right there. He's switching it up, and he's switching stances as well, very well. You don't really see too many people switch stances well from orthodox to southpaw. So he's back to southpaw right now.
Right.
Now, very difficult to take a guy like this on short notice, because this is not a typical style you face with other heavyweights.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, nice right hand. Ooh, Rudy is throwing some heat.
I love the way that Ross just clears right out and says, "Let's reset."
Oh yeah, when you have a big, strong puncher like that, you're like, I don't want any part of that. Let me create some space. Just like when Yoel fought against Adesanya, whenever he was trying to throw big punches. Nope,
get away from that.
Yeah. We don't need to be there. And you notice the beginning of the fight, both came in, did their quick, everybody landing everything, and now we fade out a little, get a little smarter. We're still conscious. We're calming down a little bit and getting into the flow of the fight. We don't have to land every punch, and every punch doesn't have the left.
I'm thinking he's going to counter him with it. Ross is throwing his jab, but he's not really turning his shoulders from what I see into it. So Rudy can counter over the top with the left hand every time. He landed one beautifully. I think he's going to, if he sees that, he should be able to land this overhead left. See, it's right there.
Yeah, right there. Mallory, did we get back up on Facebook?
I think we got us back up on Facebook. I'm going to double check that. But Raymond, there's a question I'm going to pop up for you. I'll let you answer that for you real quick.
is Raymond Daniels still fighting the MMA? That's Ramon, but Raymond Daniels is doing it. But I am. I don't know about that guy, but I will be doing it.
I don't know, Ramon. It's this Ramon guy, man. I don't
know about him, but if I'm speaking for myself, it's going in for the finish. Let's see.
So that left was not the first one. It came in with something, and then he stayed longer. We're in and out of the stream here, but he stayed in for the third punch.
Yeah, he stayed in and threw a combination off of it instead of just on the 1-2. Mm-hmm. And then this is where his wrestling will come into play. But yes, I will be doing some MMA. So, beautiful hammer fist.
A little sorry on the autocorrect, but we got you.
We're just playing with you, my friend.
We're just joking around.
This Friday, we're hanging out. I mean, come on. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. No, he's in full mount now.
Yeah. The modern approach for a lot of these wrestlers is when somebody's like, so what, how are you going to take him down? Or are you going to take him down? The modern wrestler is the best way to take him down is punch him until he falls down. And that's the young wrestling mentality is I will wrestle you after I've knocked you to the ground.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So a head and arm choke is definitely kicking around here.
Yeah, it is. He's
trying to worm it under.
To get that arm above his head, but he's doing a good job of trying to keep it down.
Yeah,
not taking a whole lot of damage, but I believe this is going to be tiring Roz out a whole lot.
There's a couple good posts coming in there.
Isaiah Soul, thank you. And what an awesome way to bring these chaps together. I can't tell you how stoked I am, man. We've been working on putting this together, and just to hang out with my boys and talk about fighting and nerd out like this with you guys, this is just a pleasure.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better. Unless I'm doing it myself, I love to watch fights. It doesn't make a difference. And I love that Bellator is back. They put an amazing card together, and this is an awesome heavyweight bout to start it off. So I'm extremely excited to be linked up with you guys and to be able to share, just some different insights.
Absolutely.
Ray, when you get into an arena and somebody's fighting, I know if your wife's fighting, that's just the worst probably, but a friend or you're just going to the show, as soon as you walk in, you just wish you were on that night, right?
I do. I have my moments, except for when my wife is fighting. Actually, I do wish I was. I don't want her to have to go in there and fight. I'm like, baby, I'll go and do it.
I'll take care of this.
In the world. But I always it actually gets me pumped up, to be honest. I'm such like a martial arts nerd and geek. I geek out with this. I literally go and work out after I watch a Bellator event or any type of events. I like to go and work out after. It doesn't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to okay, I'm going to go get my workout on now.
Mm-hmm. And start moving your body. Yeah.
There you go. With all the body hair, that sub's easier. Depends.
That's a good question. Texture helps a submission.
And it can make things a lot more uncomfortable. That is for sure. Depending on where it's at, it can also make things more slipperier because you hold a little more sweat, so being able to slide out. So it just depends. Some people will use their hair and on their chin and stuff like that to dig into people's faces and stuff like that to make them more uncomfortable. But I don't think it necessarily helps with the submission in itself.
Here's another fastball question for Raymond.
Yes, I do practice BJJ. I train over at the training lab with Mark Munoz. I've done some training with BJJ with Kit Dale, with Ryan Hall. I've done also some stuff over with so I get a lot of help with TJ Dillashaw, with Juan. So I've had a few different Sage Northcutt, my little broham. He helps me out a whole lot with my stuff as well. So I do train. In fact, I did some jiu-jitsu, some BJJ this morning. So I'm not a rank particularly, but if I had to say, I would be a no belt.
Always learning. Always learning.
I'm always learning. Maybe I'm a white belt with a few stripes or something like that. But
get that electrical tape on there, brother. Well, we're in the round 2, boys, and it looks like we still are having some difficulty on Facebook. I think it's what we were talking about earlier about not being good listed, Robin. I can continue to work on this in passing, but we got YouTube going up solid, and we've got Periscope going up. So I see you Periscope guys commenting, so we'll be throwing those comments up as they come.
And,
I'm gonna send a quick text to Chris saying it's bumping us off YouTube, off of Facebook.
Yes.
And maybe he'll
see if he can work some magic. We'll work on it.
You guys chat about this heavyweight fight.
Ron
I'll know when something bad happens.
His range a little bit. But Rudy looks like he's still trying to throw some power shots and stuff like that. Both heavyweight when the heavyweights are going at it, it only takes one punch, one swing, and game over.
I mean, the hard thing about taking a fight short notice is that, you do take, you save the card, you're able to keep things going, and your opponent definitely appreciates it. Like 6 weeks of training, not going to be able to fight. But the problem is you have an expiration date on your gas tank, and that's in minutes.
That's right.
And it's a whole lot less than the guy that's trained for three rounds or 5 rounds or whatever it's going to be.
And notice the bounce is gone, right? Notice the bounce is gone. It's plotting now.
Yeah. Exactly. You come out and what a lot of people don't understand is an adrenaline dump. You get an adrenaline dump. If you come out and you use all that excess energy, you have, I call it like 30 seconds of fame. Yeah, those leg kicks. If I were Ross in his corner, he's landed leg kicks and they haven't been checked one time. So I would tell him to keep throwing the inside and outside leg kicks, keep mixing it up, and he's mixing from southpaw to orthodox, and he could just probably eat up Rudy's legs from the outside and make him have trouble, and he'll lose that power that he has.
Those ones.
Leg kicks are the devil, man. Leg kicks are from the devil.
Yeah. I remember growing up competing in taekwondo and stuff, and then first knowing I wanted to do MMA and taking the first real bone into the quadricep and thinking, how on earth do people do this? How do people do that? Like, how can people get, because I'd watched lots of Muay Thai fights. And you kick me in the leg, I'll kick you. I took one and I was like, this can't be real. But eventually you do learn to be able to adapt, and your body starts to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're just like, wait a minute, what motivates people to get up in the morning and say, I want to go do this and get compartmental syndrome in the quads and everything else? That's just not good. We'll get to the break. We got a good question for you coming up from Isaiah. So if the round ends or if the fight ends. But I'll save it and get out to you.
Slow down a whole lot, but this typically happens a lot of times in heavyweights. Ooh, a sidekick. It happens with a lot of heavyweights and stuff like that. But as far as moving this up bigger mass, obviously takes up a lot more gas in the tank. So especially with people taking fights on last minute notice, then obviously your gas tank is definitely not prepared for it.
But to then convert to staying on the outside ranges and kicking the leg, that's a really good adaptation to make if you're tired for a big guy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It definitely helps to keep you moving. You figure you're controlling your bounce, you're controlling your distance right now. You can invest in a couple deep breaths, move back around. You notice no engagement for about 5 seconds. Then there's a strike and there's a move around a little bit. Let's get some air back into the lungs. Try to figure out that good strike and then boom, fire again.
Yeah, sometimes he can stay a little more active with some fakes and stuff like that, just to make it look like he's going to be busy, and you know what I mean, and then start shooting his leg kicks, make him guess about his hands and stuff like that. I know for me being a martial artist with those leg kicks and stuff like that, I've spent so many years of my life, and we always work kicks above the waist.
Yes.
So one of my times getting the introduction to those is actually doing one of my professional fights against Baruka Joe Valtellini in Japan. Hit me with some leg kicks and stuff like that. Made me definitely appreciate him up close and personal, how effective they can be on a high level. Put me back to the drawing board to learn on that. So I'm a big believer in how effective they are as well.
Did you immediately just go home and start training to do that to other people?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like, I need to kick some other people. And then when I started throwing leg kicks, it started opening my head kicks a lot more. So I was like, oh, this is great for me.
Here's that.
What about even below the knee? Okay. Question for all of you. What was your favorite in-fight innovation throughout the word? Something that fell away, then came back, or newly introduced by a fighter during a fight? It is a really great question. Ray, what are you thinking?
That's an amazing question. For me, I would have to say it's the you don't see a lot of fighters throwing it, and it's a technique that I like to do personally myself is a spin kick. You don't see people really do it on a high level. You used to see people back in the day when the kickboxers like Benny the Jet had an amazing spin back kick. There's a few athletes that have amazing spin kicks. Stephen Thompson, Uriah Hall have some amazing spinning attacks. The Pettises, pretty much almost anybody from the Duke Rufus camp usually has a pretty good spin kick about them because he's such an amazing coach and martial artist. So I've seen it come and I've seen it go, but I think it's the most powerful tool in all of combat sports.
It's really fair too,
Yeah. My answer to that question wouldn't be to answer it with a single example, but to observe how cool it is that cycle continues to happen.
Oh yes,
the cyclic nature of that. For a while, everybody would throw a Superman punch. You throw 1 or 2 leg kicks, and then you fake the knee and you throw the punch. After that, it became so predictable, that pattern, that in the gym, you would rather have someone throw one at you than have to throw one. Because by throwing it, you immediately get red, and it became, rudimentary and easy to counter. And it just was too risky to throw it because everyone could read it. So we all stopped doing it in the gym for a couple of years. And all of a sudden, Anthony Pettis did one to a great martial artist like Stephen Thompson because it just wasn't used for so long. So that's the cyclic nature of it in general. We see that over and over with all techniques forever.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Raymond, another good question coming up for you. There you go.
One of the best ways to learn an approach about kicking is practicing basic things. A lot of people don't practice. They try and practice the kicking itself, but practices are just leg strengthening exercises where you're taking away certain things like balance, or you're just focused on technique. We have lazy kick drills. Like if you're laying on the ground, you can practice the form of the kick. Or if you hold on to a wall, and you can practice in practicing slow. The slower you can do something is actually the faster and stronger and more control you have over it. So I think that's one of the best ways. I still do that to this day.
Nuno, thank you for the kind words. Soon Portugal will have a champion in Bellator. Pedro. Ooh.
I like
Pedro.
it.
Pedro. He'll be facing Pitbull soon enough. Raymond, I don't know if you were here when I was telling our audience, but do you know who CM Punk is?
Yeah, CM Punk, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to join us for the next fight.
Oh, is he really? Oh, sweet deal.
Yeah. It's a party, man. It's a
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got the whole crew together. All right. A beautiful lineup.
Yeah. Rafion Stotts is fighting in the next fight. He trains with Duke Roufus, and CM Punk trains down with the Duke Roufus gang, and they become close. And he's a big fan and friend of Rafion. So I said, hey, man, come on for the fight. So he's going to join us.
Definitely. I love to see how it is out there, too, training with the Roufuses. He's an amazing coach. I've had the pleasure of seeing him, of coaching against him, or fighting against his team, should I say, and also, him announcing for me in some of my other fights. Am I still in the OC? So Cruz by Whittier. All right, man. I might have to check it out. Whittier's obviously not that far of a spot, Greg. So I might have to come by and check it out. Yes, I am still up in the OC, my man. I love it out here. This California weather, you cannot beat it. So it's hard to go anywhere else.
Listen, the best. I was gonna say one of the best ways to slow Raymond down. A little pro tip for you guys is we would have some tournaments in the winter. One was specifically in Minnesota, and Minnesota winters are harsh. And I know that he would bring that California love come out here, and he's freezing by the time he even gets off the plane. That was one way to try to catch him cold. If not, that I don't have any tips for you.
Yeah, Rudy's taking him back down and working that wrestling category right now.
It was a cool one too. It was a real deep outside low double. Like the low single, you often see a guy picks the ankle and drives his shoulder in against the knee. You know that really traditional low single. Instead, low double, and he wrapped the two calves together.
Is he bringing that elbow at an angle? Is he bringing that elbow at a slight angle?
It's not 12-6.
Yeah,
he must be. He's putting a little pop on it.
Little pop.
Even the tiniest bit with a good ref. Even and Big John is one of the commentators tonight. He'll let you know. Even the tiniest change from straight down is legal. So just even a little arc on it is okay.
Yeah.
Are we in round 3?
Round 3 already.
Yeah. I mean, what? This
to
just.
Be honest, if I was a gambling man, I would have bet the first round on this. No way. So how would I have thought it would be in the third round, last minute of the third right now?
100%. And we were talking about this earlier about predicting. It's like very truthfully, these are second order chaotic systems. They respond the chaos that responds to other chaos. And it's impossible to truly predict something as simple as 2 heavyweights. They knock everybody out. One of them took it on short notice. Definitely this will be over in the first.
Exactly,
and we're 100% wrong.
Exactly. And that's why people are like, I've been hearing about people, putting all this money on the MMA fights and stuff. And it's like, you do realize that this chaos. There's no certain direction or positive direction that this will go. That's why the fights do happen, because at any moment anybody can pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's so true. And so Rudy on top. I mean, hey, Ross did awesome for a week's notice. You know, I know Bellator takes real good care of these guys and young fighters to get well taken care of. Taking it on short notice in a weird time like this, I'm sure he earned his money, and I'm sure he was well taken care of. And he made it hard. He made it hard for his man. So it was a good one.
Yeah, definitely. And I love to see fighters showing each other the respect that they. And a lot of times people see fighting as a violent thing, but the fighters understand that we both signed up for this. We're both in here. I'm going to try and stop you. You're going to try and stop me. But at the end of the day, there's no. Sometimes there is animosity between fighters. So I don't want to fool you guys.
That is true. I think we're going to talk about that a bit tonight.
But how many times did you guys fight?
You said, oh yeah,
we fought 2 times. Once for a Rolex watch, which did you win it that year? I can't remember if that was you.
I don't remember if I won that year. I won a few of them though.
He won a whole. He owed a whole arm's worth of Rolexes, and the other was doing an event we call a team fight. You send out 3 fighters: a lightweight, a heavyweight, and a middleweight, or and it's the guy is fast. Let me just tell you right now. But it's also great to get to train with him. I got a chance to come out to Ray School a couple years ago before an event, and it's like, this is the first time we've ever actually fought against each other. It's not for prize money. So it was great to learn. He actually gave me a little clue like, hey, you know what? Your arm's been held low, do this. So, and it's always a constant cycle of learning, no matter who you're training with,
Yeah, I definitely believe in like education, and then even when you compete against somebody, you're not obviously educating them, or you should be educating them. They should learn from it. But I've competed and trained with a lot of people that I've actually competed against. After we actually fought each other. Even my last opponent that I fought ended up coming over to training lab and training. Let's see, Jay, Raymond, do you imagine yourself hitting a 2-touch knockout again? Let's see. That 2-touch knockout, I usually do throw it. It just depends if the opportunity presents itself and my opponent shows me certain signs. It is one of those things, as Mallory can attest, I've done it hundreds of thousands of times. It's something new to the professional side of sport, but I've been doing this for decades in sport karate tournaments and hitting people. And so I would say it's a pretty generic move for me to do. Now, if you ask me about the 720 punch, that one might be a little more complicated.
Oh, surprise at the head. Wow.
Wow, that was surprising.
Whoa. Well, good for him. I mean, he's as surprised as anybody. He was dropped in the second and then taken down in the third. But hey, man, good on him,
Yeah, but when he was on top in that third, he was just landing strikes over and over and over. And then the other guy was just kind of Rudy was just holding on to him. So maybe that's what the judges were saying. Well, he's holding him down, but he's being active. So
that's wow. I didn't expect to see that coming. So great. Hey.
Mallory, keep an eye on our backstage because our buddy CM Punk wants to pop in for Rafion Stotts versus Cass Bell. If anybody watching right now that want to share that, we will be having guests tonight, including I'm trying to get Chael Sonnen, that guy. I've been texting with him, and I'm like, from that desk, you just hold your phone up. You'll be able to see what we're doing. Come on in. He hasn't committed yet, but I believe CM Punk is going to pop in. He trains with Rafion Stotts and his good friend. Oh, here's Ricky. Bink.
Man, lights off.
Yeah. Raymond, catching kicks. Talk to us about catching kicks and throwing punches.
Yeah, it's a lot of times if you fight guys that are like wrestlers, a lot of times they like to try and catch the kicks if they come below the armpit and below. So even if it's a shin kick, wrestlers like a lot to scoop it. But what people don't realize is when you scoop a leg like that, your jaw is wide open because now you have nothing to protect yourself at all. So he started throwing those pop, 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 quick hooks and caught it right on the button. This is Pettis. I was on this card. Electrifying first debut for Bellator.
Yeah. Yes. I broke this one down. I don't know if you saw it. I spoke with a friend of mine, Dr. Stu McGill, who is a spine biomechanical expert. He's a professor of spine biomechanics, but he also deals a lot with neurology in the brain. And we worked on talking about the mechanism of when you get hit and you hit back, how that you train yourself to respond to that stimuli and make it almost hardwired into the brain that if X happens, I respond with Y. And that is the essence of martial arts training, is it not?
Oh yes, definitely. I have to agree with that 100%. That's a beautiful way to break it down. I saw Ryan ask when I would be fighting. I'm hoping September, October time to step back in that Bellator cage. Like I said, I'm getting myself ready, just mentally, physically, and so I'm looking forward to it, to the opportunity to be back in now that we're live and back.
Great fighters fighting at 205, cutting from 230. More speed and technique than heavyweights. What's the reason? I mean, the athletic 230-pounder who can be a 205-pounder is a different kind of athlete than the lineman or the linebacker, you know? So speed is reflected in the body. Let's see if our friend CM Punk has popped in backstage.
I have definitely checking out. I'm not seeing a seat there yet, but I have my eyes on. We got the CM Punk watch going on.
Yeah, we got the watch going on. So this is Cass Bell, and I've analyzed a few of his fights. Grew up wrestling, and likes to strike in the chaos, but he's done well with kind of predicting the behavior of his opponents. That's been something he's done extremely, extremely well. He flows really nicely. And then Raffion is a real great athlete and good flow too. So this is a nice one for an undercard fight.
And gentlemen, to bring in CM Punk. Looks like
what up?
There he is.
I hope
How are you, man?
Works. I'm great. How's everybody?
We're doing good.
We're good.
Amazing.
Tell us about this guy. Tell us about this guy walking out right now. He's just about to come out.
Oh God, it's such a violent sport. I really almost hate to lead off with he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's got a beautiful baby boy. He's got a great wife. Super happy, positive guy. This guy in the gym is like an anchor. He's just always there. He's always around, helping out everybody, civilians, fighters, me. He's great. I got nothing but great things to say about Raffion. I'm excited for this fight.
That's just not surprising. Like, I mean, of all the martial artists you train with, the good ones tend to be good human beings, right? Like you have to learn a certain amount of humility and learn about acceptance and all these good basic human philosophies to become a good fighter. So we're not surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody I've met from the Rufus camp has always been super polite, respectful, and all that stuff. So you guys have an amazing crew. I know it's a small group of individuals, but I found that all of them have great character about them, just from my personal experience in interacting with anybody that I've met from that camp.
I think most gyms, if you're a rotten human being, they'll kind of weed you out. You know what I mean? It's not an environment you want to be around negative people,
Oh yeah, definitely. The training in itself is hard enough. So to have somebody trying to like pull you down, you're like, man, you know how tough it is just to get up this morning to get here today. So you definitely want to be around positive people. He looks like he's got great energy just coming off of him. Just for me, and I'm excited. Like I said, I haven't I love the whole Rufus Sports stand-up style, with the way they mix it and blend it in with the MMA. So I'm excited to see him.
Well, you know what?
Well, that's the interesting thing I think about. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no,
the interesting thing about Raffion is he comes from a wrestling base, right? So he has that battery where he's not going to get tired. This dude's in the gym all day, and I know you hear that a lot, but this guy just has that forward pressure in your face. He is not going to wilt, and he's not going to get tired.
Right there, caught the leg kick.
Yeah, and he's following the kicks in, so. Oh, and that's an interesting choice, but it's deep, man. Deep.
Let's see.
Right now.
Right back.
It's gonna take your time, relax, don't panic.
He's serene, man.
Let's see how this plays out.
Once you get up on top of that and not lean back, but get up and get on top of it. But it's an interesting one. Cass is just trying to chill through it, but if you lose consciousness, you can't chill through it. You know,
No, that's called a TKO.
Punk, are you in the gym doing jujitsu and rolling a lot with Rafion and these guys?
Yeah, Roth hasn't been in a gi lately because obviously he's been training for this fight.
And
I
see space.
Gym times have been a little bit wonky because of the all the COVID
Everything.
stuff, So we're trying to keep the fighters separate from everybody else to really
definitely
make sure nobody's getting sick. But it's tough to do, right? The gym environment, everybody's sweating, breathing all over each other.
Exactly, and it's hard to practice it by yourself. So you got to have somebody with you. But this
on the right side, you can see.
I don't want him to burn his arms out if you hold that for too long. But he's holding it.
Yeah, he might feel like he's got it. But
Justin.
Yeah. But he chose this. He chose to go out and go sternum to back here. So that was his choice, and it's brilliant, to be honest. We're all sitting here theorizing about how his arms feel. He's experiencing it, and he's going, okay, if I don't get this, I want to be into a position that I prefer, and I want to choose it, and he did.
And I can see what you say about his wrestling right now. He looks very at home right in this moment. He looks like, I can do this all day.
This is something that's very easy for him.
I almost feel he acquiesced to that takedown too, because he pulled him right into that the guillotine attempt. And look at him, like he doesn't back up; he stays right in his face.
Yeah. Is he left-handed, or is he a right-hander with his right hand forward? Do you know?
I believe he's left-handed, but I think he switched things up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes a wrestler growing up wrestling, they'll keep the strong hand forward, and it's he looks good, man. Cass Bell grew up wrestling too, but Rafion's just sort of pushing him around with the grappling.
You can tell he pushes the pace a lot. You know what I mean? That alone can break a fighter because fighters can't keep up with that pace that he's trying to push right now. I haven't seen him take a step backwards yet.
You won't see him take a step backwards. I think that's strategy in the MMA game, especially if you're just working with 3 5-minute rounds and Cass is no pushover. It's going to come down to things like cage control. If you can't put your guy away, if you're the man that in the judge's eyes wasn't taking a step backwards and was always pressing the action, that's how you win those decisions.
Yeah, and if you've got the energy now for 90 seconds to just do what you've done for 3.5 minutes, you'll remove the likelihood that he wins this round, and we'll go and make it a 2-round fight now.
Yeah.
He's got great pressure. He's got the left.
Uh-oh. Now it's his turn.
Like this, though.
No, he's in the same position.
Yeah. So squashing him against the cage is nice, but you can come up and squeeze from the top. But I think he's okay here. It looks Cass would have to make an adjustment to improve. Well, and he is though.
Yeah, he's trying to connect his hands, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a scary spot.
Get his head out of there. Yeah,
he's got to get his head out right now. For sure. And he's got butterflies. He's got it out right now. So he's
good now.
He's probably going to 30 from the cage and end the round pretty strong.
All 4 of us have competed and fought and done martial arts. Even when you're in the best shape, and both these guys are, these last 30 seconds, you're still a human being who has redlined yourself for a long time. Like that's a nice place.
Beautiful mount. Beautiful.
It's a nice place to be. Yeah.
And that's the last thing the judges will see before you
he's gonna run out of time right here. He's not gonna
armbar. Yeah.
That's
but there's no question
around that. It is a good, exciting first round.
That was definitely a way to close the round out strong and dominant right there for sure.
Who's with him, Punk? Duke, and who else do you know?
Duke's there. I know Anthony's there, but I'm pretty sure he's there for Surge.
Yeah.
And I know Dana Wanderlei didn't go with because again, that's another weird thing with the coronavirus, right? Like coaches got families, so it's like everyone's trying to really pick and choose and be super careful about who goes where and when to travel. And a lot of those coaches were on the road 4 or 5 weeks in a row for a lot of the UFC
Wow.
fights. So there was a little bit of a break. And I know, Duke's going to, of course, go because of Sergio, so he's there for Rafian too. And I'm a little unclear. I wasn't sure how many guys were allowed in corners because I know some places were saying maybe only one.
Yeah.
So
I think there are two.
I'm not sure what Bellator is doing.
I think Bellator's with 2, and yes. So I think you're allowed
so it'll be
2
Jordan
right now.
Griff. So it'll be Duke and Jordan Griffin then, because I know Jordan went there to be an extra body for to help Serge and Rafian cut weight.
Oh, nice. He just tried that Superman punch that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Beautiful angle left on it. It was nice.
Ooh, man,
This is
so
tough.
confident.
Yeah. Confidence is such a weird thing, eh? Like you can almost sort of make things happen because you believe they'll happen. By full commitment helps actually make the thing work, and full commitment's easier when you believe it'll work. Like there's so much of it is, it doesn't matter if I'm fighting Ray Daniels, it doesn't matter what I believe, but when it's moving like this,
cross wrist, he's trying to grab that cross wrist behind.
He missed. He didn't grab it. I thought he was gonna have it. If he has that standing up, he can land some really clean, nice
nasty punches.
And the interesting thing is, even though it looked like for that first 30 seconds of the fight that Cass was coming forward really strong, he not once backed him up. He still pressed everything that he was throwing. He created a couple angles when he was throwing his shots, but continued to do what he's doing right now, apply pressure. Yeah. And I think that pressure is what's gonna pay off huge dividends for him towards the middle of this round, and if he's able to make it to the third.
Cass has a very strong will, so that's why he pushed forward. But you're right. Saying, I'm going to go push forward and take this doesn't mean Rafian says, I'm going to let you.
Yeah, usually there's a push and pull. Sometimes
there it is.
Allow it to happen.
He's got the right hand, or at least he had it. Yeah, he's got the right hand. Now he's feeding it, and then he used that distraction to drop down. God, this is hard work, man.
A lot of times people realize how tiring it is to do what you're doing in both people's slam.
Yeah. And you saw Cass was fighting it and lacing up a leg and doing a lot of good work to try to stop it, and Raf still just willed it in.
Man, it's just on him like a wet blanket the entire time. Carrying that weight and fighting against it, it's got to be exhausting.
And then ear to spine here, you got more control, and reaching through the hand, now the hip. Yeah, this is heavy. He definitely went there saying, I'm just going to push through and take what I want. It's a philosophy.
Yeah, people don't really
I don't like him jumping.
Right now for Cass to carry all of his weight right now. It's actually super exhausted on his body. You see how he's just leaning all of his weight, gravity, just, and he's making him hold on to it. Look at that.
Ear to spine. Yeah. It's worked for both guys, though. It is work.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's just trying to drag him to the ground now.
Yeah, he's dragging him to the ground. He's wearing him down.
God, that's a rough way to make a living. You get into these when now you're tired and your lungs are full of all that hot, bad-smelling air, and it's still harder. And you feel the guy on you isn't getting tired as you do. That's the worst feeling.
Did Cass just mime a little like he's tired and he's bored there?
Yeah, I thought I'm bored right now or something like that, or maybe I'm tired. I don't know which one it was, but it's like, well, you can get up. I'm shit. People don't realize that how hard it is to usually shut somebody down like this. But he's like, people say, but it's like, but he's stopping you from doing what you want to do.
Right.
Whatever he mimed was code for I'm really frustrated.
Yes,
doesn't matter. His statement is I'm bored or this is whatever, but the truth of behind the statement, the language in the behind of it was this is really frustrating and I don't like it.
Yes. Is he standing on the air right now? He's standing like on the side of the cage. Look at that. See, he's like standing on the cage. Like
he is right on the
gym techniques.
Yeah.
Punk
for
like
a second,
jumping on his back here. I don't like that. I'd rather see him try to broomstick him or drag him back to the ground.
This lace is nice though.
Yeah, he's got great lacing with his legs to make him carry his weight.
Yeah, I agree
there's
with
a lot of
the
things
lace
that Cass
is
has
nicer.
to respect here. Yeah, he's got to respect that arm over his neck. He's got to, he's got to feel his back against that cage and try to get his right underhook.
By wedging his right elbow in tight and then reaching it all the way through. Yeah, just that's like, and people often wonder about that underhook, and it's like, it's not about this anymore. It's about creating this and wedging it into a spot, making it part of your body. God, that was ugly, and I mean that in a compliment, that round.
Yeah, that type of round is a round that really pushes your cardio. I think Cass used a lot of energy on that one, and that's what he's pretty much doing. Is just like people don't realize he's like sucking all the oxygen out of your body. So when you do finally get that separation, it's like, so imagine somebody just pressing on your rib cage or on your lungs. So he's making them just carry that extra weight as well.
Do you guys remember the first time that ice touched you between rounds? What that thing felt like? Punk, do you remember that?
Oh, it feels great. It's
actually. So my second fight, I get to the corner and I looked at Duke and Kush and I went, "Oh, hey, it's nice to see you guys," because I didn't make it out of the first round of my first fight. So I made a joke and none of my corner laughed, and I was like, "Okay, I suppose I'll shut up and just."
Do you remember though the feeling of being that hot and that lit, and then the ice actually touching you? Do you remember that moment? It's shocking.
Oh yeah, it definitely.
I hated it because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to. Like that'll really make you not want to get up the stool. It's like, oh, this feels good. Like somebody just start rubbing my feet and we'll just call it a night.
Yeah, and these guys are being so nice to me and they're giving me advice and I feel so comfortable and safe here with them. And there's ice on me. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Only like, it's the Raymond Daniels of the world who want to go back out there. The rest of us normal people don't want to do that.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He's got
a beautiful position right away.
Yeah. He wasn't really doing that much ground and pound early, but now that he is, now it's really making things hard for him.
Well, you can.
He's in a much better position.
That I was talking about that Cass felt from that last round. It didn't look like a lot happened that last round, but that sets up this third round like this.
There's also this anecdotal feeling that you can't see on television that anybody who's grappled, never mind fought, has felt on both sides of somebody else. You hear their wheezing, you feel their lungs going, you feel that they don't have that strength anymore, and you've just fully recovered for a minute. And completely taken that and flushed, and you feel that guy, and you're like, this is not the same fight. And that's what he felt. He felt that this is not the same fight as the other ones. And he's gonna finish it.
His jaw cranking it. He's
reaching. There it is. There's a tap.
There it is.
Wow.
Ooh, beautiful.
Man. He, like you said, Raymond, he used round 2 to set up round 3 right away. Fantastic finish.
Punk, look at his face. Punk, you know him. Look at his face. What's he thinking?
He's thinking who's next, honestly. But I know he's relieved. He's happy. Yeah, I mean that's what these guys. It took a lot to get this fight. A lot of guys. Listen, I'm not talking mess, but a lot of guys don't want to fight Rafian. Before he signed with Bellator, it was hard to get him fights. When you're on the regional circuit, this, and you've got such a great record like this guy, and you're an NCAA wrestling champion, and you train at Duke Rufus's gym, and your striking's on point. You take a fight with a guy like Rafian and you beat him, maybe it doesn't mean as much because it's still the regional circuit. But if you lose to him, I mean, that puts you back at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, and Cass is a real dude. Cass is a legit guy with a legit gym, with great students, with a big fan base.
Awesome record.
Won fights. We've a great record. We've done breakdowns of his skills. Like, he's a real guy. That's why this fight took place, is because Cass Bell's a real dude. And as a result, we got a killer fight. But Raf will be one of these dudes, 1-2 fights, and it's going to be hard enough to get those with the mid-level and the upper-level guys. But he's real, man. I love this kid.
See this as a rear naked choke, but right before he's moving his head beautifully offline as he's throwing his counter, he was never leaving his head. So it wasn't like I'm a good wrestler, my stand-up is it's his stand-up game was I thought was very impressive. Beautiful head movement, beautiful angles. He was landing shots, putting himself in positions of advantage, and then to top it off, he can wrestle and finish you down there, which makes him so dangerous.
Yeah,
he's pretty handsome too.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart.
It makes it scary.
Hey, you know one thing? I have to do my due diligence as a father. Punk, my daughter absolutely loves you. I did send her this link, and she's been freaking out on my phone. Is that who I think it is? Yeah, it is. It's CM Punk. You know, so you help me get dad points. So I appreciate it. You know, this is great.
What's her name? What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Maya Woods.
Maya. All right, Maya.
This is great. This is wonderful. I'm telling you, I'm the cool dad for tonight. This is the best thing ever. Got Bellator back. Get my cool dad points, hanging out with Raymond, Rob Black, and CM Punk. What could be better? I mean, besides getting this whole pandemic out of the way, this is absolutely perfect Friday.
Yeah, I've been talking to Anthony, and I've talked to Duke a few times about coming out there to do some training and stuff like that. I would love to get down there and get some work in with you guys and stuff like that. You guys have a great group. Eva Woodley was telling me a whole lot about training down there and how everybody's really cool down there and stuff like that. He only had high praise for you. I haven't met you personally, but he only had great things to say about you as well, and about your work ethic and everybody's work ethic down there. So I'll look forward myself to coming down there one day and get some training in over at Rufus Sports.
Well, don't come in the winter.
Yeah. Oh no. Anywhere that is not warm, if it goes below about say 70. If it's below 70, you won't see me in the wintertime. 70 is winter.
You should come out now. It's beautiful now. In the winter, it's walking from your car to the gym door is a little much. That's the first fight you win that day.
Yeah.
Right. Oh man, yeah, this is fun, guys? Like a week ago there was no Bellator right now, and now we've got a couple of fights in, and Uber Smitty, they call it Jake Smith. Uber Smitty, he's one of these cats who will get into the fire and then stay in there until one of you are unconscious. So this is gonna be a cool one. Punk, by all means, stick around if you want to hang out with us. Please feel free, but at the same time, if you've got anything you got to do, don't let us keep you, but please feel free to hang out as long as you want to hang with us. This is really fun having you, man. Really.
Are you? No. I'm. Trust me. I'm nerding out myself. This is a fun time. Are you guys doing this for the main card too?
Yes, we are. You want to come back? You want to come back for when Surge fights?
I might come back. It was opening day at Wrigley with the Cubs and the Brewers, so I'm going to go finish that game.
There you go. Got to represent. Keep it real. I like it.
What is that? Is that baseball?
That is baseball.
And listen, it's baseball, Robin.
They're chasing the national champion, Washington National. So we welcome all comers in this short season.
You guys shut up. This is fighting.
we're fighting about fighting. It's great.
Yeah. Well, Punk, thank you again, man.
Try to come back. Yeah,
please do. Just message me and we'll hook you up. It'd be great. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite, guys. I'll see you soon.
Absolute pleasure.
Man, there you go.
Mallory,
we still got fights.
Mallory, what's your daughter's name again?
Maya Woods.
Maya Woods.
We
literally. Oh shit.
Yeah, got real.
Also, Maya, I'm sorry about my cursing.
She's 25, right? She's fine.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good.
Takedown. He goes for the takedown. He just landed a beautiful right hand. I find a lot of fighters do that, and they allow their fighter to recover by going for that takedown. Even though you might want to be a wrestler first, you just landed a beautiful shot that dazed that opponent. And now when you take him down, you just allow them to recover. You say you win the round, but he's recovering when you could have just good job.
So I know what I think is happening there sometimes. It's like that like, I gotta get safe. I hurt you, great. Now I got to get safe. You know what I mean? You don't know this feeling, Ray, because you haven't experienced it for 20 years probably. But in that chaos sometimes, especially early, something good happened for me. Now let's just kind of shut it all down and try to be safe. And that's not a conscious decision for people watching at home. It's a default decision. The brain just made that choice for you.
Yes, I need to go to the safest position, the position where I feel most comfortable. You know what I mean? Where I feel safest. And
at least in danger. At least in danger. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I'm like, I just want to finish it. I'm like, I don't get paid by the hour. I don't get paid by the minute. I was like, let me just fit and close this show and let's go home all safe and sound.
Yeah. But don't forget, get those pieces too, right?
But honestly, These are why, these are why you guys put on that kind of fight, because the most dangerous place for everyone else is actually where Raymond Daniels feels the safest. Mm-hmm. You feel the safest in the space, but most MMA fighters feel the least safe there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do find it's and I think always the best fighter is, even when you're in a wrestling position like this or grappling position, it's he who controls the space the best is the best fighter. It doesn't matter whether it's punching, kicking, or whether it's wrestling or grappling.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is being able to take away and push and create is the stronger fighter, and it's going to be on top and dominant.
It's so interesting. We the three of us have chatted about this before, and we will plenty more tonight. But when you're moving, Ray, there's this complete awareness, not just of the gap between us, but even where your hip bone is compared to my hip bone, where the shape of your body is compared to the shape of mine. And actually, grappling is that too. We're filling in gaps with our body shape. In your case, you're sensing that shape and using it against people, but you're right, it's all time and space.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting a lot more with the grappling, the wrestling, especially training with Mark Munoz, is a lot of the concepts, even though you would consider it a different art form, jiu-jitsu or wrestling, from the stand-up fighting, the concepts are the same, so you can implement those concepts right along next to each other, and they work hand in hand.
I always love it when I see great strikers suddenly start to realize that one move is a fake jab and another move is a fake thing, and all the setting of traps and shoehorning somebody into knocking them out is the same game as moving it and grappling to trap them into something else. And you start to see a great striker start to play that.
Yeah, definitely. He's loving this half guard position right here. A lot of guys that are strong at wrestling or jiu-jitsu would like to stay in this position because they constantly have a leg locked down. They'll sit, post up, land some shots, flatten you back out for a little bit. And not that you can land like a lot of knockout shots right here, but you're controlling the round. You're sapping all of your opponent's energy because your opponent can't create that space. So they're having to move your body weight, and you're landing little pop shots. They're more frustrating shots than anything as far as pain. But he's got to watch this arm triangle right here.
And you can finish it. Yeah.
Does he have space to get the pace?
But the fence might be in the way.
Mm-hmm. So he goes to the mount instead. It's interesting when you saw a lot of, and we were talking about this with things changing and flowing in sort of the organism of fighting. People got away from the mount because people got better at defending or pushing or reversing you from the mount. But you don't, in time, philosophically, we don't stay away from dominance because it's hard.
Oh, did he stop it? Or
in the round?
Okay.
In the round.
We just get better at dominating. Do you know what I mean? Like that choice to half guard seems like surrendering the dominant position. The mount is more dominant. Yes. It is. It may be harder to keep, but then you get better at keeping it. You don't surrender them and not take it just because it's hard. You just get better at that. Thanks, Rob, for the live. And Raymond, I appreciate you answering my questions. Hope your family stays safe during this pandemic. Shalom. Man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because a position that is, say, more of a dominant position, but people learn to, because people get better at defending that dominant position. They go to a position, say they go to a lesser position that they don't have as much, say, a striking power, but they have a little bit more control where they can land more strikes, and they have to expend less energy also in a half guard as opposed to in a full mount. If the person's bucking and moving, it's a lot more energy they have to expend as well, I feel like, at the same time. So,
but I feel like in the micro, let's then move to the safer, more dominant one. But in the macro, let's just get better at keeping the mount. In the long game of our martial arts journey, we should just improve that dominant skill more.
Yes, definitely. And I think people are trying to stop that dominant skill from happening. So they're learning and understanding how to at least prevent that. So, and maybe people also don't study as much as the other positions. So yeah, I think just continue to evolve with it.
Yeah, that arms race of you get better at stopping something, I get better at keeping it, you get better at, and that's the arms race of martial artistry.
Exactly. That's the beautiful part about it all. It's the continued evolution. That's why I still love the sport. It's just because I'm continuing to grow each and every day, you know. So by doing that, it's inspiring to have people that have different knowledge and stuff, and that can give you different knowledge as well. So loving every day of it. Beautiful jab.
Are you experiencing martial arts so much different than you did 5 and 6 years ago? Like when you're in it?
Yeah, definitely. Even just this whole experience of me doing MMA this time around, so to speak. I'm at a different time and place in life as far as my mindset and as far as understanding the mastery of my own martial arts style. I'm able to appreciate and to absorb information at a different rate than I was when I first kind of started training, or when I was first a younger, say martial artist or black belt. So I'm able to absorb it at a different rate. So my appreciation and I have 50 million questions there. So my coaches are always, excited because I'm always asking, I'm always inquisitive and stuff like that. And by asking questions, it helps them become better teachers at the same time as well. It's a super fun situation. It looks like his hand came out of his glove right here as well.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue.
Mallory, when you were fighting, what kind of padding were you guys wearing? It was at different types of full contact and point karate. What types of padding were you wearing?
So these paddings, you had their foam dip gloves. Usually they are about a ½ inch. They're almost, as terms of padding, it's really more to protect my hand than to protect the opponent. And you get hit solid with those, man. You're seeing stars and everything. And obviously the object of sport karate is not to knock out. But you get, and as you saw Ray with his 2-touch knockout, I've seen him throw that thing so many times in competition. And when he backed up, I knew what was coming. And really, it's the heel that's going to hit you. So there's no padding on the heel. So it's like, hey, great. This will protect me from breaking my hand or breaking my foot. But, it's really thin foam padding. Not great to prevent any brain damage. Nope.
No.
It'll separate you from consciousness really quick.
Because honestly, it was an adjustment to go into like kickboxing for me to wear the bigger boxing gloves, and I find that a lot of guys use it as a big shield, as like a pillow for their head. You know what I mean? They use a really good wall. Beautiful takedown right there, brother.
Low.
But use it as a shield, and I feel more.
What up, Bellator?
Get a little shout out from Bellator. That's great.
Bellator is shouting us out.
Yeah.
Who will be Raymond's next victim?
Who will be my next victim? I don't know. Whoever wants to sign up, I'm ready to go. My goal is to continue to make highlights. You know what I mean? I'm continuing to try and make some things that my man Robin Black can BINK can go BINK on.
And actually, here's a statement that I know you've addressed before, and I'll let you address it again, Raymond, as soon as this comes on up. And I know the answer to it.
Daniels versus MVP would be a bad fight. I think Daniels would win, but it would be fun. I've been asked that question a lot because Mike and I have people say we have a similar style set. I'm Mike's elder from sport martial arts world, so a lot of people don't know that. So Mike kind of gets a lot of his, as far as his movement and his flashiness, kind of like from me. Mike's obviously made his own creation and version of it, the whole MVP persona. He's made his own thing and he does it his own way. But he originally, we've competed against each other a number of times in like sport karate events and stuff like that. And I think that his success and my success, even in whatever field is from us competing against each other in the sport karate sense. I don't foresee Mike and I crossing paths unless it would be for a title fight. I think that would make it that much more exciting for the simple fact that we both come from the same background. It's a different arena, but I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mike. He's a great dude. He is. Whenever we're in town or if he's here, I'm over there. We always make sure we hang out. People get the wrong impression from him a lot of time. I think because he's a showman. He likes to go out and put on something that's entertaining. But amazing guy, amazing fighter. And like I said, if the gold's on the line and the dollars and it makes sense, I'm sure Mike and I wouldn't have a problem going back at it one more time. But
that fight
with the ground and pound.
Yeah, man, he hung in there and just kept hammering. Had an awesome position. It's weird. We overthink ground striking sometimes. If I can hold you in a position and have one weapon free, I can pound you. And that's all he did. Deep hip, and control and pounded him. Of course, we'd love to see you fight Mike. But yeah, he thinks the same of you. He admires you so much and looks up to you, and you admire him. But hey, if you guys are gonna make $1 million each and fight for
that's what I'm saying. If that was in the sense to add up, right, then I'm sure Mike and I wouldn't have trouble fighting each other. But we both have such mutual respect for each other, and we've competed against each other enough times in life that I want to see him be successful in the sport. I want to see someone who comes from where I come from the area where I come from, be successful in the way that he's been doing it. So, I'm really excited to see him continue to grow, and to get another. The thing about the professional side as opposed to the sport where I come from is, you don't get a chance to fight as often. And in our sport, we're used to, say if somebody beats you that weekend, you want to fight them the next weekend or the weekends after that in order to see your growth. Like his first loss was, say, against Lima. I know he's, standing on the edge of his seat and waiting for an opportunity to go back to make the corrections make in order to have that fight obviously turn out differently for him. So, I love to see his continued evolution as a person, as a fighter as well.
He is like my second favorite Bellator fighter, Raymond Daniels.
if you guys want a real treat, you can Google Raymond Daniels MVP dance off. This is a real thing. Google that, you will not be disappointed. I believe that happened at the Irish Open. And,
we were fighting for a fight at the Irish Open, and I think I won the dance off. Mike thinks he won. It's still up in the air, coin toss. We're just two guys having a great time, and we know that when we're fighting, but we're both showmen. And like I said, I think Mike was a little bit younger when I was coming up, and he enjoyed the style and the dynamic to martial arts and to fighting. And I remember having just sitting down talking with him. He was like, it's not that I'm copying your style. He was like, I just like the way you show the world what we're capable of doing. And I think he does it. I think he does it well. So,
Yeah. He does get a bad rap. People don't understand what a humble martial artist he is. And when I say that, people be like, what? But he's a real humble martial artist. He just also is a showman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. And then I think people always say, oh, he's not fighting somebody that's this or somebody's fighting that. But the thing is what people don't realize if they say, oh, he's fighting people and this guy's not as strong or this is they look this way, or some people look certain ways because of the distance. When you're able to throw basic techniques in a stationary spot, I call them like a pretty pad person. You see them on the pad and they're like, and then sometimes they get in front of an opponent. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened to what he was doing on the pad? Most people are great technicians, but when you fight somebody, say like Mike, who controls or Stephen Thompson, or who controls the space so well that you're not able to get your basic jab, cross hook, uppercut, leg kick, front kick, and teeps off because they fight at a different distance than you've trained 99.9% of your life at. They fight at a different. So you have somebody come in and that's a specialist in that field. And most of the time, they're never going to get anybody that's that high of a level to come and be able to even mimic something close to that style. So I think that's
even if somebody does come in, you need the hours of familiarization with them, not minutes. You don't need 6 or 8 rounds. You need hundreds of rounds with somebody similar to really understand the connection to the timing and the movement and the distance and the kinesthetic awareness. Like you need hundreds of hours, not tens of minutes. So
and then people don't realize there's like levels to, I said there's basically like levels to. They think, oh, if it's a karate black belt, the karate black belts are the same. Just like in BJJ, if you're a black belt in BJJ, there's levels to black belts. There's a Royce Gracie level to a black belt, right? You know what I mean? Which is like a supreme level. So like a lot of guys will bring martial artists in to do it, but fighters like say Stephen Thompson or whatever are the highest caliber of that style of fighting. So even the people that they bring in might not be that sport karate or that level of fighting. So their understanding of the people they're bringing in is not at that level, at least for me in my perspective. Because I remember even going out to help out with a couple people and they brought martial artists in, and it's like, yeah, he's a karate guy, but say that their level or understanding of the sport isn't the same.
Yeah, it's like I need to fight, Royce Gracie, so I bring in a blue belt and I get ready, right? I got to do some quick house cleaning, and that is to tell people we won't have the main card. Bellator was very, very. So Ray, you got to put this on your TV.
Yeah, definitely. I already got it plugged in. It's already plugged up. It's already on low right now. I already got it going, brother. I will not miss.
I got mine right here.
I got my TV up there. This is great,
Oh, look, we got a giant shot of Mallory. And
I'm trying to get me off the camera, man. I'm trying to get it back to.
I'm teasing you. He's looking for the three-way shot, and right now he's out there all alone, and he's feeling like everybody's looking at. How's his facial hair?
Is switch one over like that, and we got some thank you guys there.
Cool.
You guys are very welcome.
So what I do want to tell people, stay with us. Like, we're going to hang here all the way through it, but we got to go live on our TVs to Paramount now and watch the fights. It'll be timed with us, and we're going to watch it with you. We're going to hang out. I'm going to switch from caffeine to beer in about a fight or two.
I like where your head's at, brother. I would, but I got training early in the morning. Coach Cal would, oh my gosh, Coach Cal would torture me. And
if you get wound up, you're going to train tonight. And if you get all wound up, you're going to train tonight still.
When you get your friends that are watching, thanks, Damon. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I might go hit a quick 5 miler on my treadmill or something like that after these fights, because I'm sure Sergio's hosting the main event, so he's wanting to leave at the bank. But one of the first fights up that they're going to be having, not the first fights, but I think it's the second fight of the night, is Pico, which is from the training lab and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see Aaron. He's a young man. He's growing, amazing wrestling ability. Got a new camp right now. And he's from the training lab where we're from. So I'm excited to see him tonight. That's one of the fights besides the main event that I'm really looking forward to.
Mallory, you want to put up Aaron Pico Asset 1? I will show Ray. Let's show Ray what we got here.
Let me get this seated up real quick.
Yeah, Ray, I'm going to show you one of his fights. I'm going to walk you through what I broke down, and then I'll ask you a bunch of questions, get some of your insight into it. Remember, we did this with your fights, but we got one of Aaron's here.
Beautiful. Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Pico, and he is a monster. We have a strength and conditioning regimen that I've always thought I was an in-shape athlete until I started this particular one, and he's the beast. He if we had a leaderboard with myself, Juan Archuleta, TJ Dillashaw, Pico on the strength and conditioning is on the leader on that board.
Yeah, great athlete. So check this out. Fake kick.
Ooh.
So he's getting the response. I built a little breakdown stuff. So the front kick gets the response, but it also is going to serve athletically. So watch the hands come down. That's great. But that's not the only purpose. As it steps back, he's going to use that sort of that athletic training you talked about, that athletic direction change of a wide receiver. Watch this. The way that's a milliseconds till he springs and launches into the punch. Watch the feet leave the ground as the punch flies. BINK. See, and that's millisecond. We froze it for a long time, but it's milliseconds. So this, and watch his right hand is going to actually just touch. So he's faking and touching and measuring and throwing you off and making you think about different things. And then right here, he'll explode through this. So watch the knuckles, from low over the shoulder, but watch his feet. He leaves the ground. And look where it hits, the radius bone. It's not, he doesn't connect exactly where he wants, but he's in just the right amount of tension and stability and mobility in the right proportion that he knocks him out. One more look.
Boom. That is absolutely beautiful. He created amazing cross torque from that fake. Getting his opponent to close his guard to the center of his body, which then exposes the jaw. And the opponent kind of came forward a little bit more, so that's why he caught him with the radius with his forearm. But beautiful execution.
Yeah. Roll it again, Mallory, and let Ray talk through it. Anything that hits you. And feel free, Mal, on any of the arrows, just press pause on any of them at any point, and Ray can talk about the details that he sees.
So that the fake up the middle, what people don't understand. So as this fake comes up to the middle, whether you throw a kick or not, as soon as it comes in your opponent's vision, their line of sight, their peripheral vision, they're automatically going to respond in some way, shape, or form to bring their hands down. So he brings his foot up high enough to force his opponent to bring his hands down. So if you watch when his foot comes up here, this is going to, because he brought it up just high enough, see, now his opponent has to respect it and respond, because it could be a real kick right to the chin. And as you see, his opponent even reaches out for it slightly, which then there's
brings the foot back
about getting your hands back up. And now his opponent feels like, oh my gosh, that didn't land. And now I have to, where do I return my hands to? Right.
And he does a little paw.
Yeah, this cross torque right here. And this is what I mean by like just his strength and his core strength, to be able to create this type of, generate this type of force from right there. Oh my goodness. Is a beauty. So it fakes that up the middle. Lead hand, he creates this cross torque by throwing his lead hand as he's pulling that right leg back. He comes
the one little detail. You just touch here too. Just a little distraction. There.
And beautiful. Oh my gosh. It comes from a low, but that's because he came from the fake kick in order to get it around to the angle. And people don't realize that's actually a harder angle sometimes for people to block, which made his opponent also reach down when he thought the punch was coming. But
so nice. I love this kid.
He has ridiculous power, one punch hitter quitter power in his hands. If he hasn't hit me personally. I've seen him train work ethic, but he has that one hitter quitter power, and those are some of the scariest people to fight, because at any moment they can put your lights out just like that. So it'll be interesting to see him do his thing tonight. He's like I said, besides one of the main events, one of the fights that I'm really looking forward to. That's on the main card.
You want to do Pico too, Robin?
Sure. Yeah, we can take a look at it. It's not as high res, but I'm just building this stuff as we go. I literally just, I'm hoping to get some of it sent to me during the show, and I'll build it right here. So look at this one. Yeah. He's stepping. He goes to sort of an open. He goes to sort of a non-stance or an open stance as his man moves across, shoehorns him out, and then fires him into that right hand. And look at, he's kind of in a squared stance, partially southpaw.
Yeah. So like he's guiding him into that right hand. That was beautiful.
And then here, straight arm, and he does that a lot. He'll frame out quite a lot, and he goes to the body. And then his man actually here, quite rightly, he senses this as he's playing this. He'll sense that his guy's going to spin. So he's controlling the elbow, but it's open for the spin. And he moves toward, feels it now. Watch, he's going to move towards him. Time and space, right? Take it away. And back to the frame again. And this one's nasty. Elbow over the top. Jesus. That is, real nasty. But if you want to run that again, Raymond and or Mal, and throw breaks in there, and then Raymond can speak to some of these details too.
It's about to reach you.
Beautiful. That was a beautiful elbow.
Yeah. My apologies. The quality of this one is not as slick.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So a lot of times people are chasing with punches and don't realize like what he did right there is, this is beautiful right here that you break this part right down. He's corralling him over to his right hand by throwing a wide. See, this is a lot wider than a normal punch would be, right? But he's trying to get him over to this side. So he throws this wide left hook, which forces him to go back the other way, which now marriage of force. So his force and his energy is going that way, and he's coming into that right hand. See how he made him go that way? And now this right hand lands beautifully right over the top, and just, as in the words of, what do you say? What's that word you say again? Hits a
BINK.
That word right there. Oh, beautifully. And then right here is just, this is his wrestling and his understanding of his control. Like he's got it. His grip strength, beautiful body shot. Controls the wrist right here as he grabs the wrist right there. Freeze that for a second. So when you have control over here, it's a process of elimination of what a person can and cannot do from this moment. The reason why Aaron's able to engage and close that gap is because he understands how our opponent can get away from this necktie that he has on him. So that he's limited on the things he can do. So he didn't throw that spinning elbow because he wanted to and he chose to. He threw it because that's the only option that he really had in direction that he could go because of the position that he was in. So as he does it, he understands, I need to make sure I close it, because if it continues to back up, he's going to get caught. Then
and instead it hits the soft tissue.
Yeah,
he moves in close and catches the soft tissue.
Then controls the neck, pins him against the cage, doesn't come and overextend for a punch, and comes with a beautiful slicing elbow finishing move. This, like, I would imagine this being a Mortal Kombat scene.
Exactly, I was thinking that.
Yeah. And he does.
He doesn't even need these shots right here. He could have just literally walked home, and I don't think his opponent would have recovered for that. But that was beautiful execution. And I think this is the continued evolution of him. I think a lot of people see him and they're like, oh, you know, this or that about him. But he's a young guy and he's still learning the game. He's an amazing wrestler, but wrestling doesn't always just translate immediately, you know. So I love to see the growth that he's doing. He's with an awesome new camp right now, and he's doing an amazing job.
You know what we can also do if we have the time? We got another piece, and we can revisit any of these a bit later, especially this main event one before the main event. But I've got a little one put together on this really sick sequence that Ricky Bandejas put together in one of his fights. You'll like this one, Ray.
Oh, okay.
Number one, or is that? It's got to be it's the
non-VO.
Gotcha.
Yeah, check hook.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. So check this out. This is really cool.
Ooh.
That's that sport karate, you know, controlling space. The guy's going to throw the hook. Now, front leg to the back and backhand slam door to the front. And some call it a check hook, some call it slamming the door. But we'll take the front leg to the back and BINK right there. But then you look at the micro up close. It isn't just the slam door. He goaltends this first. Watch his right hand. So the punch is coming. He's actually, instead of just stepping back and throwing and closing the door, first goaltends, then measures, then steps and throws.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I love your breakdowns of this and your drawings of it, because this is exactly, yeah.
Like, look at that sexy shot, you know? And then we got one more angle where we put it all together. The macro is he's going to throw the hook. We're going to take front leg to the back, backhand, slam the door to the front. That's our macro choice, right? But then within the macro of what we're doing, there's the micro. So that's the big picture. But then there's the small picture. Goaltend, the left foot is going to be stepping back. As we do, we take a little measure, which is also defensive, and then step back, and then we throw. And
throwing that hug. Beautiful.
Like, isn't that? Yeah, that's that kind of manipulation of time and space stuff. Oh, okay, the fight's back on.
Yes,
hold on to that. I want to hear Ray. Yeah, I want to hear Ray talk. So anyone that's with us, which on Paramount right now, we see, I think everybody's time will be pretty. Oh, they just showed the piece we did. They just showed that knockout. It's on Paramount right this minute, and they're showing Aaron in there. Aaron has taken, dealt with a lot of pressure young, but man, he looks focused.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job of rising to the occasion. You know, he's gotten, just some different things, and he's making the moves in order to continue to grow and to make him better. And I think that's what people forget sometimes. It's like, sometimes he's learning on the job as a pro on a platform like Bellator, so when he hits his hurdles, the world sees that,
And then everybody, hey, look, we got the triple box.
Oh, there you
go. He's fighting guys like Solo, like with 8-10 fights and 8 wins against real guys. Like, all of his fights are against high-level guys. And this is when you understand the people. And it's cool. Like, we pay our money. We become a fan. We can say what we like. But when people talk about him making mistakes or not understanding things or his chin or whatever, that's just narrative. People jumping into a narrative. The fact is, this is a brilliant martial artist, and sometimes in fights you won't win every moment, and sometimes you won't win every fight.
Yeah, definitely. And he's learning on the job. He's learning on one of the biggest stages. He did his wrestling, but his pro career has pretty much been in Bellator. So that's an incredible place to start as a professional fighter. You know what I mean? And if you look at the record of all the people that he's fought and you compare it to his resume himself, if you put all of his competitors, they have lots of more fights than he does. So, like I said, I think giving the kid some time, he's very impressive. And I'm looking forward to seeing him go out here. And I told you I was looking forward to this fight. This is going to be exciting.
This will be good. Anybody that's joining us, go to Paramount. If you don't, you want to just hear us talk about fights, we're happy to have you. But we've got on our screens right now, we got Paramount on, and Pico's about to touch gloves. If they are, yes, they will, with Solo. And Solo's a dangerous dude, man.
Yeah, definitely. He looks a little got a lot of spring to his step. Pico's been a lot more calm, a lot more patient. Beautiful leg kick, high shield. Oh, there and using what he is best at. Yeah, off the top. I think this is a big thing as well. Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah, he caught that return hook off the low kick easily. He's been talking about how much he's enjoyed watching Usman and guys like that are winning with dominance, with positional dominance. And you see he immediately low kick, catch the return, take his man down and start crushing him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think sometimes people don't understand and appreciate it, but I think one of the best forms of wrestling is I call wrestling the glue to mixed martial arts. It glues and it can shut down a stand-up fighter. It can also shut down a jiu-jitsu artist. So wrestling is the one that kind of glues all of it all together. And I think it's people don't appreciate a lot of times because they'll see it as, oh, that's not as far as entertaining, but they're able to stifle an opponent, just like Aaron's doing. He's shutting down what he's doing, and he's wearing. People don't realize the energy, like beautiful elbows he's throwing right now, just slicing.
The people do understand in certain places in the world, in Iran, in the Midwestern United States, there are people who understand and love wrestling. Wrestling isn't inherently not more or less exciting. It just requires a certain amount of understanding to appreciate its intensity and the dominance and everything he's doing here positionally with his left hip and his left shoulder. This is a violent martial art.
Oh my gosh, he's looking absolutely amazing right now. He is being relentless, and I know for a fact cardio is on point. So he's about to finish this. Yeah.
So he hips in. The legs comes up.
Oh, he's done it. Oh, that is the air right there. Ooh, that was beautiful.
This is done. It's done. Oh,
and again, this is just the beginning, I believe, for him. As he starts to understand himself, using his wrestling and his power. So he has the power in his hands. And sometimes as a fighter, you can fall in love with that and move away from what you're amazing at. He hit people and he's like, oh, well, they're going to sleep. Why wouldn't I just, why not just keep hitting them? And as a young man, it's hard for anybody to tell you different. Like, well, when I punch them, they fall down.
Oh, God. So he's pressuring the leg and then uses that to lift the leg. We'll probably see when he passes the guard. Watch the hips. Hip in heavy and then just rotates the leg past him. Pressure, elbow, it's nasty. And then Solo gets him back into guard. He hips past, goes to the back, rides the leg ride diagonally. That's the end. You don't need hooks for that.
No, I don't need any hooks or anything. Just got him flat and beautiful.
No. Now, here's a question for you, Raymond. Like for example, you have wrestlers that you're never allowed to punch in wrestling, and all of a sudden you got these massive hammers on the end of your hand, and you start touching people, and they're going to sleep. So it's easy to fall in love with that one hitter quitter power.
Yeah,
but go back to the base.
That's his first submission win right there. I think he will enjoy and appreciate that. But like I said, because he has a number of just beautiful knockouts, landing bombs. And I know as a fighter myself, as a stand-up guy, it's like it doesn't get better than that. He's like, I hit the guy and he went unconscious. Let me try and do that to everybody. So but his background, what he is an artist at, is his wrestling. He has a pedigree that no one else has, that he's competed against. So I love to see him do what he just did. For me, that was a masterpiece of what he just put together.
I agree. And, yes, when you hit somebody, you wrestle all your life and you wrestle for 15 or 25 minutes, really hard work. You hit somebody one time, they go to sleep. Hey, this is the way I should be making money. But why don't we put that piece back up of that earlier era knockout and then freeze on a few of those arrows, and let's let Ray kind of speak to a couple of these different positions. And of course, Mal, as always, throw in your thoughts and perspectives.
All right, give me 1 second to get that up. By the way, people that are asking us to sync up, it's going to be a little bit challenging because I noticed that I saw the finish before you guys did, so I didn't say anything.
I appreciate that.
time zones. So I'm watching. I think I'm seeing it first, but it's going to be hard for us to sync up because it is TV, and depending on how you're getting your TV, it may be a little bit of a challenge. So, but we're all in it together. We're all good.
Yeah. I'll tell you what time I see each time if we want to work off one. I'll be the drummer, and then you can be the bass player, and then you be the guitar player, and just build off it.
This is the Bandejas check hook right here. I like to call this. I call it a step back. Like they do it in basketball. I'm like, oh, he didn't see it. Why? Because it was a step back. Beautiful step back hook. So what he's doing with this is stepping back. He's doing multiple things that people don't understand the beauty of what he did. Okay, so a lot of MMA guys are, if they see boxing, they're only trying to use like their tight checks here, just like this, to the body. But if you're a martial artist, a lot of our checks are out here. We use like forearm block or knife hand. It's like a knife hand block check. For traditional, if you see a traditional karate guy do that, like karate, like I have that knife hand block. That's actually what he's doing right here. He's using his forearm and he's doing that knife hand block as he's stepping back. By stepping back, what he's causing to happen is his opponent to have to lean and reach forward and lean forward a little more. He's causing him to take another step. By switching his base, he's changing from being that stance length to make another stance length away from him. As he does that, he beautifully. This is amazing. When I saw this, I was just like, oh my gosh, it was lovely. Steps back, switches his base, which creates the amount of space that he needs in order to block that technique. And as his opponent is still coming forward, still has the timing to counter with that same hand that he just checked with. It's called repelling, to be able to check something and then to be able to repel right off it. We call it repelling in my system. And he checks it and then it comes right back off of it. And he's creating the torque. The torque is coming from him shifting his weight. As we saw, Pico landed from the kick. Here, he's doing it with shifting his weight. Pico's was forward. His is actually in reverse. So if you look at the front kick Pico did to the hook, he's actually stepping back with it. And this is
that real touch. Do you think that touch? So repel, we want to go repel, punch. Do you think repel to touch to punch makes the sequence easier?
Yeah, so because he's repelling. So when we repel, usually it's like the same hand that I blocked with is also countering at the same time. So if you look, he blocks with that hand and he also comes in with the hook for the counter with that hand as he lands back in the stance.
In between, there's a little touch on the forehead. Do you see it? Watch. So the punch comes. Yeah. So roll it a little bit, Mal, and then pause. You'll see a little.
Right there, just that little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like a measure. It's more like a measure. He's checking and then he's measuring, and then to create this cross torque. Boom, and beautiful hook. He's planting. Notice how his feet. He was moving, but when he's striking, his feet and his body are all planted at the same time. And thus, he basically borrows energy kind of like from the earth, so to speak. So we get our power from the earth. We borrow from the ground. So that's why he's landing that hook at the same time. Beautiful.
I always like to talk about it, and we can just leave that frozen there. From my friend Dr. Stu McGill, it is the correct proportion of mobility and stability.
Yes.
Right? The correct balance of mobility and stability. We're mobile, we're stable. We're relaxed, we're in tension. And just think of that. So we're mobile and stable. We are relaxed, we're in tension. We're stopping, touching, turning, like all of it is happening simultaneously, but all of it has a balance.
And flow, it all has a flow to it. He's contracting his muscles, relaxing his muscles, and contracting his muscles at the right time in the right moment so he can get maximum acceleration on his shot. And people don't realize that a lot of people fight and they're very tense and tight, and you're actually burning a lot of energy. To do a move like this, you have to be very relaxed, being able and comfortable, and know at the exact moment to be able to contract your muscles. The added power to this is that his opponent, not only is he doing this and creating and generating a lot of force, but the marriage of force, because his opponent is coming forward into his shot And not only is he just coming forward into the shot, he's actually trying to throw a power shot. So as far as like when the contraction, if I'm throwing a punch with this arm, there's not all my energy, so to speak, is right here in this arm right here. There's nothing right here protecting, you know, as opposed to like if I see your shot coming, I can brace myself kind of for the impact and expect. But as I'm throwing that shot, he's landing it beautifully. And then he threw the extra hammer fist on the ground, which he didn't honestly really know. He just did that for decoration, but the fight was over immediately right after he landed this.
You know, people bring that up a lot. And a lot of the times we see people actually get upset. They're like, oh, he didn't need to do that. But we're seeing it in slow motion. It's actually milliseconds. Those hammer fists are probably 1.5 seconds in total. And when you fight, and again, this is a theme, like, of course, the average person can't know this. And even if you know the words that we're saying are true, without experiencing it, you don't have any idea what this is like. But you are competing in an altered state of consciousness.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And in that altered state of consciousness, your brain is choosing to deal with the most important things, and it's ruling out everything else. Your taxes don't exist. Doesn't matter what color that light is. And it also, the assessment of whether or not that man is conscious is not part of my altered state.
Not even remotely. Whatsoever. Not even remotely. No, not at all. And people get upset. I always find it's easier to kind of like Monday night quarterback something or look at it from an outside perspective looking in, because you didn't feel that physical, say, force or that energy coming at you. And in your mind, that time is longer and faster than you realize. Most people think, oh, he's been on the ground for a second. But in your mind, that's all happening in an instant. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times people see it like they'll get a bad rep, or they'll say the fighter shouldn't have done this or shouldn't have done that. You know, the reason why I said it that way is just because it was already over. But that being said, it doesn't mean he shouldn't have landed those shots right there, because in that moment, he wants to make sure I hit him and make sure he is not going to come back. I need to stop him completely. And until the ref pulls you off, that is your job to continue that. So I think it's a different state of mind. I think that people don't realize that if you're actually in there and in that moment, your frame of mind and your consciousness of time is totally different.
100%. I just picked up my phone for a second because on the screen, we don't have the sound on because we're on our own trip down here. I hope people are enjoying it. We're getting comments if people are enjoying it. But Michael Chandler, Benson Henderson 2 is being announced for August 7th. I just texted Chandler to see if he wants to pop on with us and watch a fight. Ray, do you know Mike? You know,
the first time I ran into Mike, I know he does some outside training with Training Lab and stuff like that. I've met him a couple times. The first time I remember seeing him was I think I was in St. Louis, and he was doing some laps, dropping a couple extra pounds. It was pretty hot out there, and but it's got an amazing work ethic. So I don't know him super personal, but we've met each other a few times, crossing paths and stuff like that. But amazing guy. I like his work ethic. Amazing father. You know what I mean? Like from what I see from him, the time he spends, and he understands the importance of parenting.
He's a wonderful guy. He is. And you talk to Ben Henderson, and he'll be like, I hate that guy. And you talk to his opponents, and they won't like him. But if you know Mike, he's an inspiring man. Like, obviously, he's a brilliant fighter. And that's something that the three of us, and probably anyone watching this, find important. But he's a good man and a good father and a good husband and a good friend, and but it'd be great to have him on. So I sent him a text to see if he wants to.
That's what I appreciate about him the most is I think sometimes people get such a bad rep of what fighters are. They say a fighter. You know what I mean? So I think he's one of the guys that's a prime example of what it means to be an amazing all around martial artist.
Yeah. Are you guys having fun or what?
This is a great Friday, man. It's just
it's awesome to have Bellator back and to be able to share it with you guys. I know, especially with the whole distancing that everybody has to do and people not being able to be live. It doesn't get better that I get to share it with you guys and share this event happening live. Like I said, I can't wait till I get on maybe I'll do some mid-fight announcement. Pop, pop, pop. Come over and talk to you guys for a second on the screen.
I'm asking if they. So JJ Wilson is another one of these kind of undefeated guys.
Yeah.
He's going to want to be on Taiwan's back to have, some kind of, to find an advantage here, because Taiwan is real, man. But JJ is one of these dudes, came up out of nowhere, was on undercards, Bellator undercards. People didn't know him, wasn't from a big gym, went to Rich and said, I'm a real guy. I want real chances. I want real fights. And he kept getting them and he kept winning. So, but this is a big one for him. I'm asking if Chris has Pico's finish and I can draw it up and we can play with it here.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That's beautiful finish. I think for fighters, a lot of times when they're young, especially, the thing, I know Pico lost a couple fights, but so you see him going in, Wilson going in with an undefeated record. I think a lot of times that puts a lot of pressure on fighters because that they're holding on to, you know what I mean? They've been dominant. They haven't tasted defeat before. I think it sometimes puts a little bit more pressure on the fighters to perform, and that's why I like where I was getting back to Pico is he doesn't have that pressure on him anymore because he's had to learn. He's had a couple learning curves, and then so now I think he doesn't have that pressure, so people are able to see his growth now. So it would be great to see. Claxton already has one of his. I mean, he's a super explosive, just fighter. Already has that defeat, so goes in a little more relaxed, knows what it is, has been and experienced this before. So it'll be interesting to see if sometimes the younger fighter comes out, kind of blows it a little as far as their energy burst. They do an adrenaline dump, and that adrenaline dump is just blah. So we'll see if he can get to his back before any of that happens.
Taiwan's another one of these guys. If you guys haven't spent time with him, we'll have to bring him around if we do this more in the future. He's a coder, and he actually sees phrases of training and thinks about preparing himself, training himself, and preparing sort of algorithmic responses the same way that he codes. He sees his process. Yeah.
So he's talking about language, Robin, and that now
for nerds like us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's interesting. It's beautiful to see, and everyone's code is a little bit different the way they interpret it. You know what I mean? So it's awesome to see, from their perspective, or to hear from their perspective of how they interpreted that situation. That's why I love seeing your breakdowns, because for me, I want to see what did he think. Looking over my shoulder, if he was a parrot on my shoulder as I was going through this motion, what was he seeing, or was he thinking that I was thinking in my mind to do? So that's why your breakdown, and a lot of times when your breakdowns, you hit, right on point with them. So that's why, like I said, I remember the first time I saw you doing one of my breakdowns, I was like, oh yes, that's when I thought I made it. When you did when we broke down my video, I was like, all right, I'm official now.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It means a lot to me, man. This is my calling, this is my art form. I'm a martial artist and I fought and I've trained martial arts my whole life and it's what I love, but figuring it out and trying to find the nugget, the thought process, the physiology, what's happening in the body and the mind and the soul, and then finding the words and the language to be able to share it with people. That's my calling. That's what I do. That's what I'll do until I die. When you look into my stuff, I literally, and I believe this is how you become hopefully good at anything. I literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of breakdowns that I've been doing over the years, and 1,700. And I believe, much like when you've trained a kick, a punch, a reverse punch, a knife hand your whole life, I believe this is the answer to finding truth in studying anything, deep immersion, deep commitment, look at it from as many different perspectives as possible. And truthfully, the only way anyone can get good at anything is being obsessed with something that they love.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And that's what people ask me, oh, how do your kicks, how did this, you guys see this end product that I'm able to throw this spin kick or throw this 720 or throw this side spin side, but you didn't see the years of the hard work where it was struggled and it was ugly and I was it didn't look good, and then now it's that finished product. But that was from, again, immersing myself in this. That's why for me I love the stand-up side of it a lot more, honestly, than the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu. The only reason is because I cannot. It's hard. You can, but it's really hard to practice those and get better alone. Usually you need a partner to wrestle with or a partner to do jiu-jitsu with. So I do a lot of imagery work in my mind with my stand-up. And so I'm doing it with my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu as well. But when it comes to stand-up fighting, I can go out and shadow box. I can work on a heavy bag. I can watch videos and I can see things and my imagery of it happening. But it's hard to sometimes practice, some of your stuff for jiu-jitsu when you don't actually have a body to armbar, or whatever. So for me, that's why I love the stand-up side of it. And I think it's beauty in the other arts because that shows that you've had to put that much more time into it, because to master that art, you've not only had to do it just yourself, but you've also had to do it with other, you've done it more than everybody else tenfold. So,
So check it out. I got the Pico finish right here. So let me throw a few freezes in there and play around with it a little. Once we get rolling and we've got some stuff, I'll transfer it over here and I'll build a little breakdown. We'll bring it in. Like how crazy is that? That we can do that now.
Brother, yeah, that's awesome. It's like seeing an awesome artist and you're asking him to do a painting on the spot, asking you, are you doing that on the spot? You know what I mean? So that's awesome to have you, draw up a fight and stuff like that, just on a moment's notice. Like, all right, let me draw this up and bam, bam, bam. Yep. So. Yeah,
we're going to do it. So we'll play around with this as we're doing this, but it's interesting because I can see already as I'm looking, they don't have obviously everything, but I see, right? So I'll show you as I'm going and then I'll draw it out, but you can't really see it, but he is leaning into there you go. So he's leaning into the thigh. So some people call it a chest pressure takedown. We go in, we've got it, and we lean into the thigh. And then often you can reverse that, but he leans into it. I'll put a freeze in there and then I'll draw. He leans into it, uses the response. And again, just like you get a guy to jab, he slips out to the side and you walk him into a kick. He uses the response off the chest pressure to get up underneath him. So we'll build that in. And I'll throw something in there, down there, and then switch. Oh man, it's so
I think
nice.
It's an awesome experience for a lot of people too, to get to see your mind frame behind the scenes of how you are working on one of your projects and your videos and stuff like that. It gives them a live and in person, up close and personal view of the mind of Robin Black creating.
Oh, thanks, man.
They can see it as it happens. This is really cool.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, I love to go back and watch something 100 times, and I will. But the goal is over time to do. I do live commentary. That's my favorite thing. I love to do these, but live commentary. And I believe, when you watch football now, you can see guys. And during the play, what's that? Mal, you're the football guy. Who's that guy who was a quarterback or was a high level guy who is the guy who will draw and predict what's happening as a commentator now?
I know Tony Romo's got a lot of that stuff.
Tony Romo.
It's got to be Romo.
Yeah. So you'll see Tony Romo doing it and he'll say, and you can see that the offensive line's moving up and he'll draw it on during the play. I believe that can be done today during fights. Now, you don't want to overdo it. But you could certainly zoom in onto a fight and while you're commentating have some amount of control. Now I know
here you go,
the way that
seeing the BINK live. I agree. I told you, like for me, seeing you work on the BINK right now, like we see the BINK, the product, we see the finished product, but we didn't see the development of it. So now we're seeing, the work that goes behind the scenes is I think it's really cool. I know I'm fanning out about it. Like, okay, good. I get to see him do his work, see him work his magic. Like, how do you do it? Can they send me some tips?
You're freaking me out, Legend, because I'm such a fan of your work, and for you to give a shit about mine like that is very, very cool.
Oh no, man! I'm appreciative of artists. People are artists in their own form, and I think one of the great things and what people miss is sometimes finding something that they're passionate about, like what you do, and then finding a way to share that passion. And that's what not only your insightfulness, but you're finding a way to share your passion with the world in a different way. You know, some people share it in a certain way, and you're finding your way to share it. And I think that in itself is an art form and shows how much love and respect you have for the sport
thanks,
itself. Because of, you know, again, your work speaks for itself.
And one of the things you can tell he enjoys what he does is because he's so passionate about it. Yeah. And I could see you spending many late hours and then looking at the clock and realizing, man, it's late in the evening because you've been doing something you love the entire time.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. We were talking when you're hitting a guy and we're like, the audience will freak out, but they don't realize that the perception of where you are and your connection to reality is different and time. The flow state, as we talk about that a lot now, and we have to go deeper into our understanding of it because we're already bastardizing what it is when we discuss it to a certain way, because it isn't a binary thing that you're either in it or you're not, and that's it. You move in and out of it. You have to return to it. It's something that is alive in and of its own self. But when you are in that optimal state of performance, you do lose track of time. And you're right. You just go in there. Like today, Mal and I were setting this up, but I built 4 of these today in between the other stuff and taking my dog out and helping my wife. And those were my moments of connecting with the universe, doing what I was put on earth to do. You know, and that's what these guys are doing. That's what Taiwan Claxton and JJ are looking to do, you know?
I get yelled at plenty of times about from my wife for not making it home in time for dinner. She's like, "What are you doing?" Sorry, baby. I lost track of time. I was still training. You know,
that when you were saying about those thousands of kicks, why on earth would you train a kick 30,000 times? Because you get intrinsic joy from the act of the training.
Yes. And I think seeing the growth and the personal growth that you experience during those times is, you know, when you can see that you can do it, and then not only that you're getting better at it, but then you start to execute it. People don't realize that just because you practice it, then you have to necessarily practice it in sparring over and over, or drilling just on the pad, then it's sparring, and then to actually try to pull that off in a live competition, you know, it's ridiculous, and because you don't really get that many, say, live competitions to be able to throw those typical type of techniques. So, you know, it's awesome to see. So these guys are coming out to the ring, into the cage. It's gonna be. I think this was gonna be. It's gonna be a good one right here.
Oh, Claxton, man, like he's different. Yeah, I like him. I mean, both these guys are good. It's hard. And that's the thing when you commentary, hanging out, whatever our role is, we're still humans. Like there's still something about one of them that's somehow appealing to us. We might be cheering for inadvertently or really like a guy's style. We're still humans. We're still moved by this. Just because I like both fighters, but this guy's moving me right now.
Yeah. Well, people are saying that about me. People are asking like, okay, so if you're going to fight, you know, me come out kind of like dancing, you know, and there's going to be no crowd. Are you going to dance and stuff? Like if you saw Claxton as he just came out, or he was still, you know, vibing. And yes, I will definitely do it. And as you see, he did it. It's not necessarily about the crowd. It's about getting into your zone, getting into your flow, getting into your rhythm. And as soon as I find that rhythm and I'm grooving, and it's like, oh, okay, it's party time. And you're a dangerous competitor. You're a dangerous fighter if that fighter is having fun. You're there to compete against them. They're actually there just to have a good time, and that was what makes them dangerous, because you're competing, they're partying, they're having a good time. So their mind state is in a whole different place. They're in a place. You know, so when I come out, people are like, "Oh, why do you come out? You do that?" I'm just trying to find my flow state. I'm trying to find my rhythm, my vibe of where I'm just here to have a good time, and I'm here, and I'm very fortunate and blessed that I get to show my craft to the entire world. That is a party in itself. Don't you get excited when someone sees your videos? I'm excited that somebody gets to see my craft. You know, maybe for the first time, I get to show them something that they maybe never seen before. You know?
Man, because that's what your life. That's what you've dedicated your life to.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes, sir.
It's all about bringing that energy up, bringing it within yourself. I've never seen you fight at all, Ray, when you were just like, it's just another round, it's just another fight, whatever. I fought this guy 5 times before. No, you've always brought some measure of energy that brings up, it lifts the room. People are running from all over the place, like, hey, Ray's fighting, we got to go check this out. And you see that in your kickboxing and MMA, everything. You're bringing the energy to that room, which uplifts everybody. Man, I don't think this fight's gonna last long.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so either. Claxton's got a lot of power, but he's gonna try and pressure him, like Brian was saying, to try and get on his back.
Yeah, he needs to. Doesn't need to, because when you hit somebody really hard, things change. But I think, wants to try to get to his back. I mean, JJ looks physically great. And nice high hips, but Claxton came up his whole life wrestling. Look how he's getting his hips back. He's not threatened by the knee, because the knee's not there as he can feel it. So now he'll be the one dictating if he wants. Yeah,
definitely. It looks like he's setting up a little arm drag right here from when he wants to pull guard. But his pressure is great. He's controlling it. But I think also JJ doesn't want to mess with his power as well, because Claxton does have some power, so he might be a little more comfortable in grappling and wrestling with him, as opposed to trying to experience his athleticism with his punches and his flying knees.
Yeah, if you haven't, our friends with us and popping in and out of the stream, if they haven't seen Claxton's flying knees, that's a complete disaster. It's a disservice. You have to see that. His first, actually, it was his debut, I believe. Yes. And he went flying through the air.
Across the ring.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that clip. I know what you're talking about. My goodness.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was beautiful, great athleticism and everything. Flying across the knee with his knee, and he was coming from the rear knee, brought a lot of power and energy into it. Also cupped the head, from what I recall, on it a little bit, and just drove that.
Yeah. Which actually was much like that little sort of. Well, the kid's firing, man. There was that little sequence when he cupped the head during it is almost the same sort of mindset, where you're flowing and you're seeing the world slower, and you're able to do a little more in the moments than the observer would think. Just like what we said about Ricky in there with the open touch hook, being able to kind of move within the moments. That's what he did when he kind of shoehorned that head into his flying knee.
Yeah, definitely, exactly. And it's a little thing, but it makes a world of a difference in the moment, as far as how your power and your energy goes. But yeah, this is like I said, that I think Claxton has a lot of power in his hands and stuff. So I'd be interested to see if he separates. But wrestling, people don't realize that he's controlling him. He's wearing on him. He's landing little quick shots, and he's controlling the entire cage.
The absolutely cruelty of this clinch game is one, it's training, and two, you can't make a mistake because it'll be lights out. See
that beautiful uppercut to right back into his wrestling game. So he's creating enough space. I wonder what that was. Why is the ref stopping him right there?
They're going to put up a replay in a second.
I'm working on this. You guys tell me what's happening.
Yeah, the ref called a stop for a second and froze him in position. I hadn't seen a ref freeze people in position like that before. I thought he was bringing the doctor in or something like that. He had an uppercut and went in for a shot.
I thought it was a clash of heads at first, but I didn't see it in the replay.
JJ's in a kind of reverse position. Oh, and it's going for the takedown. We'll see Claxton's wrestling. Oh, beautiful. He got to the takedown. I know a lot of wrestlers don't like to be on their back per se. So we'll see how strong JJ is on top. He's got him in a half guard and trying to actually pass that.
Guys, there's a cool couple of moments in this piece.
It's the making of the beat.
Yeah, that's what I said. Making magic right before our eyes, brother. I don't think the world is ready to see one of your masterpieces just painted right in front of them, So, oh, wow. He just went to full mount on him right now. He's doing a little ground and pound. Since he's a wrestler, he will give up his back, and he is on his back grab, just like you called. You said he wants to get to his back.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Rear naked choke position. He's fighting the hands right now. He's doing a good job of the 2-on-1 and stuff right now, but he went to the exact position that you called before the match even started, brother.
Oh man, that's what he wanted.
Yeah, the Vegas odds makers might need to get you up on there. Is he
little side position, little side job for you?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right, guys, I got you a piece here, Mallory. I'm gonna transfer it to my phone, and then I'm gonna WhatsApp it to you.
I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, that is absurd. Like, I'm sitting here in Toronto. Ray, you're in California. Mallory, you're in Washington. Our audience is everywhere. That fight's in Connecticut. They sent me a thing. I got it built. We're gonna share it.
Oh, beautiful reversal right here. That's awesome. Bellator sent that to you right away so we can get it broken out. Nice.
Yep. Yeah. When I'm after. See, this kid is dangerous. He wasn't just going to give this away, but I don't know how many chances he'll get at that. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be frustrating that one didn't come through, you know?
Yeah, and that shows his preparedness for what his opponent was going to bring. A lot of times, sometimes people go in and compete against somebody and don't necessarily study their strength or respect their strength. I find that is more of a kind of sometimes what it comes down to is they don't necessarily try. I think the things that can hurt you the most are the things that you don't know. Being able to go in and to have somebody put you in, say, the submissions or the types of attacks that your opponent is going to throw at you can give you a better understanding of how to defend them. Not only doing them offensively, but how to do them defensively. So I thought Claxton did a great job of defending. I don't know if he'll be able to get in that position often, especially as they get sweatier. It'll be easier for him to kind of slip out of it.
It's going to be psychologically demanding too, when you want to get that, you had what you were aiming for. You knew if you could get that spot, guys are streaming and they're saying, if I get that spot, that's my spot, and you get there but you can get there. That's the other side of it.
Oh yeah.
It can be done.
Yeah, you had some success there. And then Claxton's a southpaw. I always go for the southpaws anyway. But JJ's an awesome fighter, but I got to go for my southpaws. He doesn't look so comfortable standing up. Claxton looks a little bit more comfortable on his feet. Beautiful right hand there, though.
So just to put a timestamp, I'm at 4:16 right now.
Okay, we're at 4. I'm at 4:30, 4:28, 4:27.
4:20 for me right now. So I'm away from Robin. That I'll wait a few seconds before I say if anything major happens.
Okay.
Beautiful one.
So I'm at 4:15. Yeah.
The level change right there. Was nice with that jab. Did you see that jab to the body and then the overhand? That was beautiful.
Yeah. With it will be challenging for people to we're all on slightly different times, but that's okay. We can talk in generalities.
Yeah, definitely. Claxton seems a little bit more comfortable on his feet than JJ does, to be honest. I think JJ would like to get back in a clinch a little bit.
Taiwan is a really interesting dude. He's really smart and he's really cool. But when he's fighting, he has that little bit of meanness that some guys really need. Don't you get the feeling he wants to smash this guy's face in right now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that sounds funny to some people when we're talking about fighting, but that's not always the case. Oh, we got Pico in here. Should we look at this now?
Yeah, there we go. Get the Pico.
I'll keep it on after between rounds, but I got it queued up and it's ready to go.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, you'll see one little cool detail in there. You guys will really like it.
Oh, you tried that. You don't find me.
Yeah. You ain't kneeing Eric Claxton.
Nah. He's like, that's my move, man. Copywritten. It was on his banner and everything.
Exactly. He sells T-shirts with that on it.
Exactly.
So I see JJ landing more strikes than Taiwan. I don't know that's so. Sometimes these strike count things, that's people pressing buttons when they see things happening. Not always, sometimes, but not always do they know what they're seeing. But JJ's having a really good fight. And I'm happy for that kid, man. It's an interesting thing. Some guys say they're real, and they don't know kind of what that is, especially young guys. It's like, I'm going to be a champion one day. But this kid belongs in here with Taiwan Claxton. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I like to see when people don't necessarily duck a real competition, because Claxton's he's a real competitor. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people won't want to go in and test themselves, so to speak, with such a high level person. So this shows that he really wants it. He really believes in himself. His camp believes in him, because they wouldn't have him in here if they didn't think he was ready for it. For such a So,
and it's interesting too,
especially because he was busier. But I think when it came to as far as shots from the significant shots, significant shots, it would have been Claxton landed significant ones. But as far as landing the most, he's been busier, even though Claxton been applying a little bit of pressure on him.
Whatever time you're at, you saw JJ jump guard for a moment.
Yes.
I never hate that. If this is your choice, if this is where you'd like to attempt to put the fight, put it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to, I want to get down to the ground with this guy. This pressure standing up, he's not able to go for any submissions right now. This is a wrestling thing right here. So he's out wrestling, hitting him with shoulders, hitting him with a little, making it dirty, making it grinding.
Head under his chin.
Yeah, beautiful exit elbow. And then every time he'll strike, the beautiful thing, if you watch him, he strikes, and then he always re-enters back to his strength, right? He steps back, hits you one time, back to my strength, just to make you low. We're still in a fight. We're not just wrestling, we're fighting,
And how frustrating is that to get hit and then you can't hit back? You're being held there.
It's like, it's rude is what it is.
It's very rude.
His hand position is beautiful.
Yeah.
His hand position is beautiful.
And that's an
right back in.
Interesting thing too. Sometimes when we're watching it, the average viewer at home will be like, well, I know that I want the head under the chin. So they think that's just a choice. I just put my head there. But that's a fight. No. That is a fight between people. And I don't just get to put it there. Sometimes people will even say, and of course, being an audience member without fighting, or a journalist or whatever, and you don't fight, it's okay to not know because you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. But that is a fight. So sometimes somebody will say, why doesn't he put his head under his chin? Well, even though his head is here, he's trying to do that.
Yeah,
but he's a few steps away from it because of other positional things that are happening. Rarely is the issue, we, the Twitter viewer or journalist of, punch face 420, whatever, know what to do, and the fighter doesn't. That's almost never the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very interesting how you say that, because people are like, oh, all he's got to do is, if he gets his underhook right now, or he slides his head over to it's like, he knows that he's supposed to do that, but his opponent is stopping him from doing that. Like you've seen, Gracie Braha say jiu-jitsu black belts on the ground, BJJ black belts, awesomeness, get shut down. And it's like, why is he getting fully mounted? How is that happening? Because he knows the correct answer, but his opponent also knows that, and is stopping him from doing that. Right. That's why he's not doing that. If it was just that easy, then obviously everybody would probably do it.
Exactly. If all I got to do is grab the neck and jump to guard, and I get a guillotine automatically, no matter who I'm fighting, then why don't I just do it?
And speaking of jumping the guard, JJ tried to jump to guard towards the end of that round. Now they're getting a little more slippery. It's going to be harder to jump to that guard. He's going to end up falling off and just sliding off like he did at the end of that round, and put him in a really bad position to end that round.
Ooh. Yeah, so I'm still a bit behind. I'm 448, 446, 445.
So you're a few seconds, about 7 seconds behind me.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm about 15 seconds ahead of you guys.
Yeah. If you can, Mal, just press pause and count to 10, and then stop it, and you'll be close.
Hey, you know what? We'll figure this out.
All on the same spot.
1,000.
Yeah, and Ray, if you press pause and just count to three or four, you'll be closer to me, and then we can count the audience in next time.
Exactly. We count the world in.
Hey, that's a low tech way of fixing things. I like it.
Check it out. That's that outside the box.
That was definitely a thought from outside the box.
Yeah. So where are you guys at now? I'm 407, 406, 405,
355.
3, 2, 1. So Mal, count to 5. Pause and count to 5. And Ray, what do you count? Where are you at? 356.
I think.
So pause for 3 seconds, Ray.
I'm on 48, 45, 46, 45.
Boom.
I'm picked up a Ray. There we go. Now we're all together.
Look at that. We're all on the same page.
I got the degree in computer science. Why didn't I think about that? I don't understand.
I know, man. Come on, man. You need to step your game up. You got, Rob. He's gonna take your degree plaque and he's gonna post it on his wall.
That's what's gonna happen.
I'm doing my specialty here. Why can't you do yours?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Do we still have comments and stuff? Are people popping into the stream? Obviously, it's different.
Yes, we still got some people. I got to give a shout out for Runner Ryan, who's over in Ireland, hanging up to almost 4 a.m. with us. He said only whiskey can do so much. But Ryan, I'm glad you're still with us. This is great.
There you go,
yeah,
brother.
Ryan, when we hit the main event, I'm going to have a tequila with you.
Nice, serious.
I would join in with you guys, but like I said, if he sees me having a shot before I go to training tomorrow morning, I might not make it out alive.
That's right. Raymond, do you know Dean Barry? Do you know?
Dean's my guy. Yeah, Dean and I go way back. He's one of my guys from Ireland. He's a really good guy, making his way in the MMA world and stuff like that. I love to see another guy, one of my guys from the same area where I'm from, younger generation, coming up, making his way into the MMA scene.
He was in Quebec. I was traveling with George St. Pierre doing a documentary of George, and Dean was training with him. So I got to do karate sparring with them one day. And of course, I couldn't do much, but I did touch George St. Pierre's face with my fist. I did. I actually did. For real. But then, of course, if he wanted to kill me, he would have done so within about 1 second. He chose not to. That's why I'm still alive.
Yeah, right. That's one of the great things I do appreciate about George is he's come out here. I mean, I've had the great pleasure of having him as my main sparring partner for most of my camps, or not for most of my, for at least two, 3 of my camps. I've had him for 2 or 3 of my camps as my main sparring partner. So it was amazing to just have somebody of his caliber. But what I love about him is he appreciates all art form. For me, he is the ideal and the epitome of what a mixed martial artist is. He appreciates all styles. Not only is he amazing in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all this, he goes and trains boxing with Freddie Roach. He does sport karate. He's come to my gym and spar with some of my karate students, and he's out there point sparring and blitzing people, but just in the engagement and disengagement of the game. So you can't do anything but appreciate.
Jump triangle.
Almost.
Jump triangle. He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
He is.
Oh, dropping the elbows to try and loosen him up. Oh,
JJ, respect.
Jump to that triangle. Woo.
Back to JJ, no matter what happens here. Oh, he's got the angle on it. No. Nope. He's got to go elbows there.
40 seconds left.
Yeah, he's not going to get this, but he can win this round with elbows or finish him maybe with elbows. Good for JJ, man.
Open right now. He doesn't have the position to be able to turn his hips into it because of the cage right now. But he's definitely going to win this round for sure.
Well, what if he won one of the first 2 rounds on one of the judges' scorecards? We saw one earlier. Rudy lost to a young man who came in on a week's notice.
Roz, he lost to Roz earlier due to that. Is he trying to always go? And time.
Good for it.
That's a strong way to finish that. That was actually impressive fight.
Respect. JJ, good fight, man. Both those guys.
Coming up to the official decision. Just to go back a second, probably one of my greatest martial arts days was getting the chance to not only meet GSP, but to also train with them was like mind blowing. I couldn't believe nobody else was with me. I was like, one of the guys called like, Mal, did you bring equipment? Yes, I did. And he says, come on here and join us. And I'm thinking like, okay, this is the best it's going to absolutely get, being able to get in there. Yeah. And one of the most humble, nicest guys you have ever wanted to meet. Like you said, the respect all over for the arts. It's one of these guys you look at and like, man, I can't believe that you're this humble. You're this genuine. He told me a story about, I saw the UFC belt in his gym. And he said, that's my second belt. And he said, my first one is I gave to my mom. And It's over his the mantle. And he says, when we go over there for like a Thanksgiving or something, my mom, she keeps it clean, she keeps it up there, and she says, did you see what my son brought me? He says, I'm kind of embarrassed, everything, but it's your mom, it's your mother. Absolutely, you do it in a right. We're mama's boys. You do everything for your mom.
Through and through. Yeah, it's amazing to see somebody that is as humble and respectful and polite and kind that has accomplished and has the resume that he has. It's like you would almost be understanding if he was a little bit standoffish to people. Like I hung out with him in Canada and stuff like that a few times. And when he was here in California, and we'll be out just getting ice cream or something, and somebody would recognize him, and he would always spend the time just to say hi, to take a picture, to sign an autograph. At no point in time was he ever like, oh no, I'm not doing that right now. Always super nice, respectful. It didn't matter, who he was talking to. And like I said, you don't really see that in a lot of just people in general. But for me, that's like an amazing champion that he is, and martial artist that he is, and that's why, I don't really find too many people that that dislike him. You know what I mean? Everybody respects his craft, what he's been capable of doing, and that's why he's one of the GOATs. In that conversation of one of the greatest to ever do the game, because he's the first true, I feel like, kind of like martial artist. There's a lot of people that are specialists in certain areas. They're amazing at like BJ Penn or the Gracies. They're amazing at jiu-jitsu, or amazing wrestlers. He is really good at everything. And I remember talking to him about fighting, and he was saying, my goal is to take a person to where they're not comfortable. Whether wrestling, if they don't like to wrestle, I want to wrestle. If they don't like to stand up, I want to stand up. If they don't like to do jiu-jitsu, he was like, I was never necessarily better than everybody in a particular area, but I was better than everybody across the board.
When I spent time with him too, it wasn't just a commitment to a lifestyle or a life of being a martial artist and learning the skills. It was becoming a better human, figuring out your weaknesses, searching for self-improvement, all of these things.
Your boy got it.
Wow. Good for him. That's huge.
I wasn't mad either way on that fight. That was it. It was an impressive fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was very close. The first round could have went either way. So impressive
Probably
fight.
All the judges gave him the third, and the two judges gave him another one.
Yep. Close enough to make that decision. You're absolutely right. And look, hey, we're the beneficiary. We got a great fight out of that.
Yeah, definitely. And that goes to show that he was ready for a challenge like that. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't willing to risk themselves.
Man, good for him. Yeah.
I like the social distancing that Bellator is doing for all the announcing and all that good stuff. They're keeping it all
keeping it 6 feet apart at least.
Exactly. I'm not mad at it, man. It's you gotta keep everybody healthy and everybody safe, and then even especially for the athletes, people don't realize, like, training, you're a lot more susceptible to getting just sick because you're rested, you're wearing your body. Like when you train, even though you see these athletes and they're strong, they've had to tear their bodies and muscles apart in order to get prepared for weeks and months at a time. I'm sore already for tomorrow, and I'm just thinking about what's going to happen to me tomorrow. So like my body is feeling it right now. So I think it's good that they're keeping the distance. Like especially athletes, just their immune systems get broken down from training, especially after a fight when you just put your heart and your soul into something. You know what I mean? You're going to be truly exhausted.
Hey, well, it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stream Glory kickboxing fighter, and of course 2019 Glorious Knockout of the Year, Mr. Ross Levine. Ross, welcome, brother.
Hey. What's up, fellas?
Good to see you, brother.
Robin Black, the man himself. What's happening, man?
Hey, it's good to see you, man. Now, I believe I broke down that 2019 Knockout of the Year, did I not?
Yes, you did.
You did.
Yes.
Dude,
I was hoping
it's my morning, man. It was really cool experience. I know Raymond can attest to that, man. gosh, having the man break down your knockouts is like, woo, my status, even though my followers on Instagram didn't go up, my status went from here to here. I was like, I made it.
Exactly, right? Yeah, there it is.
You guys honor me. It's ridiculous. Ross, you're in Connecticut area, or are you Rhode Island? You're somewhere out there, right?
I'm in Rhode Island. Yep.
Yeah. When I was at, I think it was the last one for March 13th, that week, I was hoping to train a little and learn a little of Ross's voodoo and funk.
Yeah, a little bit. I was really looking forward to that. Mallory was supposed to drive his way up.
I was going to stay at this brother's house. Everything was going to be wonderful. And COVID.
We had a cool little plan. I mean, I was going to do some training with you, Robin, and then Mallory, we were going to drive up to Lausanne's MMA, and I was still getting ready. I was only a couple weeks away from my fight in Belgium, and the world decided we had better plans.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be commentating the Olympics right now. I was supposed to be commentating taekwondo, karate, and boxing for the in the Olympics right now. So yeah, it's weird. It's a weird time. But look, we're doing this. So this is good.
Yeah, Ross, I'll tell you the thing about what I love right now. It's about you and being in your kickboxing career is people have only seen you kickbox. No one has seen you go to this other repertoire that you have. You know what I mean? You have, I don't know if you want me I'm not going to put your business obviously in the street, but it's beautiful to see that, obviously you're using the time and the distance, but you have an entirely different mode change to if you want to change in the instant in the fight. I'm looking forward to seeing that as you continue to even evolve even more. And once people see that you're able to even change things up, I think if they thought that one was like your best knockout right now and that made number one, wait till they see what you're really capable of actually doing. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, that was cool, but I got some more stuff. You know what I mean?
We'll see, man. I'm just, again, I think I'm just looking for the next opportunity, especially with everything going on now. I had a really nice fight lined up in Belgium, and it just it fell by the wayside. And, I don't know if they're going to promote the new matchups. I know Glory just got bought. So I don't know what this new guy's, ideas are or what his vision is, if they're going to involve the American fighters. As of right now, my contract is still good. But so in the meantime, I'm staying in shape and my weight is good. I'm just staying
ready.
We know some people at Bellator Kickboxing. If
I've heard.
we know a couple of people.
We got you, brother.
Yeah, we got you.
I just want to fight.
So on a screen right now, that's Jordan Mean. I'm going to tell you a lot about him during. He's a good friend, and his father's a close friend of mine. Jordan has started fighting. His first fight was against Rory McDonald. Jordan was 18 and Rory was 16. That was both of their first fight. Yeah, he's a sick martial artist. Do you guys want to take a look at this Aaron Pico piece that I just
let's do it, brother. Let's do it. Got it queued up. Like I said, we couldn't say no to you working one of your masterpieces on the spot. You know what I mean?
I built it up and I sent it in. So Aaron's in on the single. Right. And this is chest pressure. So you guys know chest pressure. And as soon as the man responds, you go in the other direction. So he's going to get up underneath him right here and then watch scoop. And then this is a done deal. Right. And as soon as he's going to hit the ground, we saw some passing. We'll jump to the end and then we'll go back to it. He's going to come up here and this right hand, watch, it punches him into the choke. Think. Look at that. Like that's dirty. Right. And it's not an accident. It's not an accident. That's how Nate Diaz finished Conor McGregor. Yeah. And a couple of things here. He's looking for inside control. You can go to the bicep or to the armpit. When he responds, instead, you dig the underhook and he's going to try to pressure on the knee and go to pass here. It's not there immediately, but watch with a few small adjustments out, research, go back in, and now goes in and he starts to strike from here. This is what led to being able to get to the back. So much pressure here, it opened up the back. When we get back to the back, you can see one more time this sexy choke punch. He literally pops up, right knuckles temple, right into that choke. Filthy, absolutely filthy. Aaron Pico, and that was the deal. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it's absolutely. And I'm amazed that you were able to break that down.
Exactly.
Do all the details into that. And I mean, for me, I love seeing this because I think this is the evolution of Aaron Pico. People kind of, gave him a hard time because there was so much, say hype behind him of being, of having this pedigree in wrestling, that when he came onto the scene, being a young man, you can kind of feed into that hype. I always try and tell young fighters coming up, don't believe your own hype. You know what I mean? Don't believe that, what people are saying about you, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, right? Mm-hmm. So now people are seeing him develop before their eyes, and they're going to be like, wait a minute. Okay. But it's also him being a fighter, like even Ross, anybody, yourself, for Mallard, everybody. No one can tell you that if somebody says let's fight, you're gonna be like, okay, let's fight. But I think he fought people that some of the people were a little bit higher sometimes caliber than he was ready for, say, at that moment. But it is your job as a fighter to believe in yourself and to want to step up and fight anybody. But it's your corner's job and your coach's job to put you in situation and in fights where they can develop you as a competitor and as a fighter, I think, over time. And that's what I think is people are starting to see him develop, and they're going to see amazing things from him.
Some of these crazy strivers, and Aaron's one of these guys, right? Like all you guys are like that desire, constantly get better, constantly win, go further all the time. Some of these guys, that's what gets them. Like, it's like a gambler. The guy loses at the table, and then he takes twice the money and he puts it on black. And sometimes that's what you do. You're like, that guy knocked me out, but fuck that, I want a tougher guy now.
Yes.
And that's what makes Aaron Pico great. That's what makes all these fighters great. But you're right. Someone has to edit that and say, we don't have to do that. You got nothing to prove.
We can, we will, and you're capable. But at this particular moment in time, we're not going to do that. And the people you have around you, you have to trust that they have your best interest in mind. It's like your parents. You may not always agree with what it is they say, but at least you know that they do have my back and they do love me and they are trying to support me, even though I may not hear what it is they are saying right now. I may not want to hear it, and I think that, like I said, people, I'm still a huge fan. And anybody that isn't, just because Seiki hit a couple bumps in the road, but as is life, we all hit bumps in the road. And how you pick yourself up, how you recover, how you move forward. And I think he's making the correct steps and taking the necessary changes to make, to make a great run in the sport.
Have you guys ever seen, any of you guys ever seen the opposite, where there's a brilliant young fighter and they watch their coach turn down so many opponents and like say no to high level, mid level, even fairly easy opponents, and only want the lowest level, what people very rudely call tomato can level? Have you ever seen that? And it actually breaks the fighter. They think somewhere in the back of their mind, they're like, my coach doesn't believe in me. Have you seen that? Ross,
I've seen it. I've never seen it to the point where the fighter gets to the point where they get fed up. I think I've seen it backfire, where the fighter has they've beaten so many of these tomato cans that now they have a great record and they have no choice but to get fed to the wolves. And it's like, I wasn't ready for this. And then they fall off the face of the earth, because they don't have that in-depth training, or they don't have that mental psyche that it takes to be in that top 5 type of group. So I've seen that happen before. But I think, just to piggyback on what Ray was saying, that's where it's so key to have like really good management that cares about your well-being. They want the best for you. They don't want you to have the best so that they can take a chunk of it. I think that's so important, where you have the people who really have truly have your back and want to build your career to a championship level. And that's something special.
This guy here, old school Dino, that's Dean Panis. I've done commentary with Dean up in Edmonton. There's so many great fights. I don't know if you guys have ever fought in Edmonton, but I'm surprised if you haven't, because there's so many great fights. Dino, thanks for watching the stream, man. Dino has been a ring announcer, and he was a play-by-play guy that I worked with in the past, and he managed fighters too. But Edmonton, man, but all over. You guys have traveled all over fighting, I'm sure. Raymond, you've traveled all over the world, man.
I've been up that way and stuff. And what he was saying, to add to what he was saying, it's important for fighters to experience a first loss to see how they react. Sometimes fighters if they go, say, either unchallenged or where they haven't been pushed, like Ross was saying, you fought this level, and then you're like, okay, I've got a great record. Now let me fight this level. But you skipped all the in-between.
The pushback, the resistance.
You don't have the resistance of the trial and error, so sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be a defeat. you know, but that hard one or match, you know, you have to get knocked down, so to speak, in order to find yourself and to see how bad you choose. Because it's easy to do it when you're winning all the time or when things are always going your way. But when you hit some adversity in life and in the ring, how are you going to respond to that? You know, some people, they don't like it. And I'm not speaking bad about her in any way, but Ronda Rousey, when she went for undefeated for so long, it was a really hard hit to have that first loss. And it almost can sometimes be like overwhelming, you know, and have a support group around her when she experienced her first or her second loss. You know, you don't have anybody to tell you, Ross, or tell me, Raymond, or get up off that couch and you know, you're going to get back in there. And this is, you know, so I think that is also about just having a tight-knit group, you know, and it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily the fighter, but as Ross was saying, the people you have around you that are capable of talking to you in a way to pull you out of that rut. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So and so I've seen that, and I've seen it the other way where we're talking about that, where I've seen fighters not trust their coaches and leave the coach because they felt the coaches were not getting them the fights that they felt that they were ready for. They don't realize that the coach, or they couldn't see eye to eye with the coach, that the coach was actually trying to look out for them. They took it as the coach neglecting them, and they left.
Did I just see that right?
Yeah, you did. Jason Jackson just left between the camera and Jordan. And Jordan looks super calm. Jordan's a cerebral fighter when he's at his best. And Jason's real jumpy. It's a real good idea if you're Jason to try to stress Jordan. May not work, but why not try, right? Why not put a little chaos into him, you know?
Jason's got great reach. You know, with he's got a good reach. But I love his movement with his jab. Watch when he comes out and he's using this drift jab. And if he starts to land it, it makes it really hard for fighters to catch on to what it is he's doing. He has really good movement. I remember seeing him a few fights back when he first came in the Bellator, and I was like, oh, this guy has really good ring generalship of his movement. So I want you guys to watch how he's using his jab. And I think if he can establish that jab, you know, it'll be a key factor for him in this fight.
Watch how Jordan slips. Watch how Jordan slips. It's hard to touch him. When he's at his game, it's hard to touch him.
I'll be interested in that. I love. I'm a sport karate guy, so I love fighting somebody because I know from the background that I come from sport karate. I don't know about you, Ross, and you guys fight, but I never meet anybody in full contact, whether it be kickboxing or MMA, that's faster as far as hitting first. I can always hit them before they can hit me. So that's why I would love to see this, because he has for me, like an entry, like a fencer. So I would love to see Jordan's head movement and his countering ability to this, because he reminds me, his jab reminds me of a sport karate's jab.
I'll predict the very first jab, Jordan will look to slip and right hand. Doesn't mean he'll land it, but his first reaction will be to try to respond to the very first jab.
And Ross, we got to make sure we're synced up with you. The fights about ready to begin for us. I'll call out the time, and hopefully we're not too far ahead of you. I know you could be up to 30 seconds. It is exactly the fight start right now, so it's 4:57. For those of you watching on YouTube,
I'm a little ahead of you then.
Oh, you're a little ahead.
Then press pause. Press pause. Like press pause and count to 2, and then press it again.
We went through this whole thing to get synced up. And I'll call out.
Look at Jordan's head. Watch Jordan's head.
4:39, 4:38. 4:37, so it gives you an idea of where you're at, Ross.
And then you can just pause for 2 seconds and come. Watch Jordan's head and watch. So he's coming low hands too. He's playful too. Did he already get touched in the left eye?
He's been hit. He's throwing a couple jabs, but I don't think he got hit that hard or anything landing. Yeah. See, there's that jab that I was talking about right there,
and the slip too.
And the slip, both right there.
Yeah. I think whoever starts to resort to leg kicks, but he's pressure. He's keeping great pressure on him. He's a pretty long guy.
Yeah, Jordan's a big kid, man. I call him a kid. He's probably 33 now, but he's always there's the leg kick. Yeah. When Jordan's on and he's seeing everything, it's hard to touch him, and then he'll make you off balance and he hurts you. That's a great answer, though, eh? Jab to the sternum.
There's that jab that I'm telling you about. He can establish his jab, but if he throws a leg kick, he'll take away some of that speed.
Ross, what was your introduction to leg kicks with getting into full-time kickboxing? Because that's something obviously we didn't do in sport karate. How did you transition from a point where you're doing no leg kicks to having them in your arsenal?
Well, I'm going to tell you this in complete honesty. I really had 2 introductions to low kicks. Mm-hmm. I had my first introduction was in my training camp where, I learned not really too much the hard way. I mean, I knew that I needed some conditioning to begin with. So I felt like I got conditioned. I was getting hit a lot. I went through a period where I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how not to check leg kicks, just like take and respond, just to build the conditioning. Just to build the conditioning. And then we worked the leg checks back into my game. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was doing okay with it. And then my second introduction, which was my real introduction, was the first time I went up and trained with Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah. I got firsthand about it, Ross. Firsthand.
I figured out I didn't know what leg conditioning was.
I live in Toronto, so Joe's a good friend, and he invites me out to his gym. And man, and I get to train out there, and it's right by where I work at TSN too. So Joe's a good friend, and when you just see that guy hit a pad, like you see him drill his shin into something. It's ugly, man. Yeah,
definitely.
So Ross, he's become a really good mentor for me.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really smart guy too. So he dug the bone into your quadricep a couple of times?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, it was good. But I think what was great about it too is it's not just him. It's really everyone in that gym. It's him and Troy Sheridan and Diego and Mike Keefe and like all these guys from the gym. Matt Embry was up there training again.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool stable, and those guys are all so well put together as kickboxers.
It's such a cool, and it's such a cool style behind that sort of strong, pressure approach. The philosophy that Joe puts together, along with the tools and the tactics and just the right amount of will, and all of a sudden it makes a particular package is really fucking hard to deal with.
But what's awesome too, and the thing that really attracted me to Joe, and I wanted to go up and train just because I love training with as many people as I can. But the first time I went up and I had to sit down and have conversations with him, I realized how much of a true martial artist he is. Yeah. We grew up with similar backgrounds. We both came up in Taekwondo, and he kind of got
great
right hand.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he's in trouble. Jordan's in trouble here.
Right now.
I like how he's got in the body too.
Yeah. And Jordan will attack with the elbows.
This is what I said about his jab. See how he's establishing his jab, and this is why. And then see he's waiting and being patient for that right hand. That's why I said if Jackson establishes his jab, it might be in a little bit.
Jordan's really jumpy right now. Really jumpy. You see it.
Yeah. This is why I was admiring Jackson so much, is because of the angles. He creates angles that Jordan's got great hands, but he's not in front. If you watch, he's never in front of Jordan when he's striking. Yeah. He's always trying to create a new angle, or he's on the end of the punch.
I would urge anybody to go and find Jason Jackson versus Ed Ruth. That fight is sick.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
The judges gave it to Ed, and whatever. Our job isn't to judge. I thought Jason won that fight, but what a great fight!
I would agree. I would agree with you. I watched that fight, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it was a war." But I thought that Jason should have won that fight, and he didn't win it. But I was a fan of him not only before that fight, but that fight because he showed a lot. Not only I thought he won the fight, but he got pushed because Ed came back and started pushing and putting the wrestling just on him towards the last part of the fight. And I think that's why the judges, because that was the last image I think that the judges saw was Ed dominating. I'm
trying to see if I can find that in my thousands.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah.
I mean, look, we got to definitely celebrate. You had the first live BINK done right here. You got something from the truck. You got there with a brand new iPad, broke it on down, and we showed it right away. Yep. And there are people losing their minds, like Robin just did that. Like we saw it.
Man, that it's what I love to do. Honestly, it's like truly my life's work. It's everything I'm about, and that anybody gives a shit at all, it's just moving to me. Like it really is. We'll keep
give
looking.
me a little time countdown just so I know I'm on point. I think
We're
I
on
am.
445, 444.
45.
So in the 440s.
Okay.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, so literally you pause and then release and
Yeah, no,
you do it
I'm
until
good.
you
I'm caught up with you guys.
Oh, nice.
There we go. We're all on the same page now.
That kick off the forearm did not feel good.
Yeah, I think his leg is compromised. His right leg is compromised. Jordan's right leg is compromised. Sorry, his left leg. He got caught a calf kick, and if you notice, he's going to stay in a southpaw stance. Watch, he's going to attack that leg again. See how he's limping, and now he switched base. We're just talking about leg kicks and talking about the thigh, but taking it to the calf is what it. Have you noticed, Ross? And you guys, what a lot of people have been doing is taking it down to the calf now because it's not as
I haven't had a chance to really experiment with it in kickboxing. You don't see it as much in kickboxing, but it's really.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It exists so much now. It's an answer to something. So what used to happen in MMA is this: what Jordan's doing right now. As soon as we move forward, we began to grapple because we were both moving forward. As soon as we grabbed, now you'd have to defend my takedown. But Wonder Boy and all Pettis and so many of these fighters, Holly Holm, started to fight at distance. There was no grappling at all. The grappling didn't exist because I'd fight at distance, strike and move away, strike and move away. And if I was better than you, I'll win the whole fight like that. So the calf kick is your longest weapon to my closest target. It is your longest weapon to my closest target. And so that's how you make me stop playing at an outside outside the orbit kind of range, is you use that weapon. And now I have to either move back in, which is what you want, or it's just taking away the outer orbit. It's the response to everybody fighting at distance. And in kickboxing, we don't do that so much because we want to get in there and fight.
Yeah.
You know, we don't flee. We don't, it's not out there at range. We want to test the weapon, draw yours, play with mine. Whereas in MMA, if we don't want to grapple, we stay far and we win the outside distance. And the calf kick is a response to that.
Neutralize.
Slow them down so you can get close enough to be able to land the shots. People don't realize that it only happens from a closed stance. So now they're left leg and left leg forward. That's the calf kick can happen. When you switch to an open stance and you're in the opposite base, it takes obviously the calf kick. It's still there, but that person has to take a big step up before they can throw it. They can throw with they're throwing it with their lead leg, which is not going to be as powerful as their rear leg. Switch.
Great.
Yeah, step knee.
He's landing, and see that it's that jab of his as well. Boom, boom. Oh.
So when Jordan's loose like that, that's when he's always been dangerous. When he's tight, less so. He's a very, very, very good fighter, and he has been for many years. He himself has said to me that he gets, somewhat discouraged, that it's a mental thing, that he's not quite letting himself fight to his capacity. And just saying that and admitting that and thinking about that yourself is something, that's meaningful, that you acknowledge it as something you have to work on.
Yeah, definitely. It's something to be able to, reflect and look at yourself, you know what I mean? And critique yourself. And if you see what he's doing right now, he keeps shooting side to side. Anytime Jordan gets ready to land shots, he shifts from side to side so that way he can't land. You see how he shifts side to side so he can't plant his feet.
It's so good. Yeah.
Jackson's so good. Yeah. A beautiful timing for that shot.
There's just something, like as we watch for over and over, different fighters, different artists, they each have their own kind of sound, like the way that a blues player has his own sound. You know what I mean? Like Jackson doesn't fight like other guys who throw that punch and that kick. He's got his own expression of his personality. It's so fucking cool to see.
And for me, that's why I said I've appreciated Jackson's style. Oh, beautiful, and his and he can take you down as well.
Yeah. And Jordan stopped the first takedown, and then the first one was a little hook with the leg, and then the second is low back pressure, as you press the top and pressure the back. But it's tough now. Jordan has to, a guy who has openly examined his own sort of tenacity and questioned where it is and why it is that way, now has to go and try to finish this guy in the third round.
You know,
Yes.
that brings up an interesting question. There's been a lot of discussion lately. Instead of announcing the scorecards at the end of the fight, doing basically releasing the judges' numbers during the rounds, so you would actually know. You know, you just like, hey, you're down two rounds. To, you know, you got to go in there and get a knockout or submission. But if they actively told you, do you think that would be helpful or hurtful to fighters, knowing that these judges have scored it this way? You know, you're down 2 rounds, or you know it's a split. Do you think that's going to be helpful to fighters or more dangerous to fighters?
I saw Legacy started doing that. Obviously,
Right.
I'm a fight geek, so I watch, Bellator. I saw them on their last production that they did. They were doing show the scores in between the rounds to the fighter. I think it's an interesting concept. But for me, I always want to know the score. I mean, I've grown up knowing the score, like whether I'm up. Or sorry, I think it was Invicta. My bad. That did it the other week. But I've grown up knowing the score at all times. So if I'm down, I know I need to pressure the person, or I can pull off. But I think what it'll do is produce a lot more action in that 3rd or in that 5th round, because the simple fact of the fighter knows he's down, so they're going to come forward strong. But the fighter that is trying to stay reserved, you have to also still be careful, because now you know that person's coming forward with a whole lot.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. So my last fight with Glory, they were doing live scoring. So my coaching, we knew ahead of time that we could have access to the scorecards if we wanted them. I told my coach I didn't want to know the scores.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I felt like I knew what I needed to be doing. And regardless of if I lost a close round or whatever, I always felt like I was in control of where the fight was headed. So I wasn't concerned, because I felt like if I had the right timing and I wasn't getting hurt or anything like that, I knew I'd be in control of the fight. So I didn't want that extra pressure. Like, I didn't want the time in my corner being wasted by talking about what the scores were. Just give me my information, tell me what I need to do, and let me do it. And if I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll win my round. Maybe looking back on it, as a fan, I like to know the scores, because I like to see what's going on in the corner. But as a fighter, I just want my information. I want to relax in the corner.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
With a fighter,
opposing
you're in there
views,
after you fight, you don't really care. You're just like, I'm just trying to breathe right now, man. I only got 1 minute to breathe right now. Don't tell me about no score. Just give me oxygen, give me some ice and some water, and we're gonna call that a day. And any information that you think I need in order to go out and protect myself and be successful. That's truth to that. But for the corners, I think it's important for them to know.
Definitely. I think that's the only minute in the fight where I can decompress and not worry about punches and kicks flying at me.
That's true.
So just give me that time to kind of let my heart rate come back down, and then all right, what do I need to do? Don't tell me.
But I want to know if I'm down like 0-2 or I'm up 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do want to know that.
Yeah.
This kid's tough, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, he thinks when he's not thinking, he's flowing great. When he's thinking, he's not gonna behave as well. But it's not heart, it's not toughness, it's not will. He's got all of that. Mallory, I just sent you. I just whipped up a quick breakdown from a couple of moments from when Jason fought Ed Ruth, and I sent it to you. So we can look at it in between rounds if we want. But we also can show Ross that check hook, and if we have new viewers from when we started, we can look at that check hook of Ricky Banderas too. But go.
Oh yeah, no. When he switches to a southpaw, I feel like Jordan's been having a little more success. When he's in orthodox, I think Jason's a lot more comfortable. But when Jordan switches to the southpaw stance that he's in now, I think he's been having a little more success with his strikes. But Jason's jab is really strong and on fire today.
Well, he's starting to lead with his right hand too. He's starting to connect off the rear hand too.
Oh, I love the choice of that knee. It's good work by Jordan to get here. But that knee choice, as Jordan was weaving through kind of the, Main Street kind of thing, that was really, really nice. I like that choice, man. Wow.
Beautiful.
And this is what I mean by I think Jason is very well versed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. And then you're winning a fight, and you've got a guy on his back with a minute to go. You feel pretty happy here.
Yeah.
This is all incumbent on Jordan now to either stand up or submit or reverse somehow.
Yeah, and Jason's got to be smart enough to not put himself in any positions or anything like that, and he's comfortable with just letting the time. This is when people do this. He's stopping breathing right now. It's one of the worst positions to be in right now when someone puts their hand over your nose and your mouth, and then you're taking these little breaths.
Late in the third round too, late in the third round.
Yeah,
with COVID and everything.
Of course. With that, let's just add that on top of it.
I don't know where that glove has been.
Right.
For anybody that doesn't know, imagine going to do sprints and then person telling you can only breathe through like straws afterward. That's how you have to kick through a few straws. It's kind of like that.
That has got to be supremely frustrating. You're like, really? Come on, man. Just.
Good for Jason, man. And he's a good dude and a good fighter and a good martial artist, But, hey, Jordan's been a friend of mine for a long time, so I feel for him, He's a legitimate, lifelong martial artist who loves fighting. He did well to get away from all of that, but he didn't win.
I think he did an amazing job when it changed. A lot of it changed when his calf got compromised and he had to switch his base. I think that people don't realize if you that changes a lot of the dynamic of a fight once you have your mobility taken care of. How he got hit with that shot right there. That's
I'm gonna ask for that piece.
Yes, that due to his left leg not being as quick and as stable and sturdy to be able to respond forward and back. So he's trying to step forward to his other base and gets countered immediately. So
I'm going to ask Chris for that piece, see if we can break it down. Do you have that Jackson knockdown? Because that's a nice one for us to break down. But after the decision, we can take a look. Mallory's got Jackson versus Ed Ruth, and I pointed out a couple of things. There's one really, really interesting part, and it's kind of gross. But
I'm actually still waiting for that to flow through, Robin. So double check that. Make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Yet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, thanks.
No problem.
For letting me know.
I was waiting for it. Sometimes it took a second the last time, but we're waiting for it to trickle on through. Hey, Ross, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
so you spend all this time training. I just heard this coming through, so I'm prepping while I'm asking the question. So you spend all this time training, you pad work, rounds, and everything. What is the final thought right before you step between the ropes, knowing that you are now going in by yourself? Yeah. Everything up to this has been a team effort, and now you're going in by yourself.
Truth be told, I've always been pretty calm. Like even when, I think my pro debut I was more nervous during my pro debut than I was for my Glory debut. When I got the call from Glory, it just was more of a validation of where I belonged than it was like, are you really ready for this? I had a feeling I was ready. I had a lot of good people supporting me. I mean, people that have been there, the guy on the bottom right of my screen, Raymond was always in touch with me and following up on my career, even as an amateur. So, seeing, number one, competing against Ray for so long. And then, Chris Cyborg.
Chris is coming in. Chris is going to come in. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, building.
Yeah. Can we add Chris? Do
yes.
we have the link? Did I send it to her?
Yes, you can.
Chris Cyborg, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, you want Chris? I'll jump out. You want Chris Cyborg? Come on.
Chris.
I just watched. There was a video that just popped up of Chris sparring with another female boxing champion. That was awesome to watch. I think that was on our Instagram like yesterday.
Chris, I just gave you the link in your Twitter DM. So we got Chris Cyborg coming into this party, ladies and gentlemen. Was a bit of a sausage party, I must say.
Hey, always use a lady's point of view.
Yeah. No, she's actually a super amazing, nice person. I've come across her in a couple of training sessions and stuff like that. So she's awesome. Such like a sweetheart, kind, polite. But when she gets in the ring, she's she turns and she flips this entire clip.
Well, it's my honor to introduce and bring to the stream, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Yeah. How are you?
Nice to come back.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Great to see you.
This is where there. That's Mallory. And then I don't know if you know Ross Levine.
We've never met, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Ross is a very, very high-end kickboxer. You know Raymond Daniels, wherever he is.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming, Chris. Are you going to watch the fights with us?
Yes, let's go.
Oh, awesome. Are you excited to get back in? And congratulations. I didn't get a chance to congratulate you, Chris, on your Bellator, title. I was able to start off the show on that amazing night for when we fought at the Forum and stuff. So I was the first fight of the main card, but it was amazing to be on that card with you, to fight on the same card alongside you. And then it was just really cool. Congratulations on, just your entire career is just amazing in itself. And then to capture that title as well, you know what I mean? To not to just do it in one organization, but every organization you've ever competed in, you've been at the top. So that's an amazing accomplishment. I don't think there's any other athlete that has in the world that has won it in every organization like you have.
Thank you so much. Work really hard, and they look around me very good too. And I know it's a whole team, giving me strength for keep going. And I'm very happy to be champion in the Bellator. And that day was a special day for me. Is the day, I have a loss to that place. I get to win that place. It's very special.
Oh, yeah.
The same,
Chris,
at the same venue?
Yes. Same
Oh,
venue.
wow.
There's nothing like going back to correct something in time. Like, okay, I messed up here, and now I get to go and fix this. You create new memories for yourself, as opposed to that old, you have not a negative memory, but you have just an ill thought when they say this place. You're like, I don't know about that. And then, now you're like, okay, I want my title there. I like it now.
Everything, and the wall, you can see the everything is the match, everything is the fight, but I really enjoy the time. I'm really happy and excited.
You were just training, Chris?
With Bellator?
For now, I'm training, but I'm waiting to see what's next going to be. I know it's going to be, I'm going to know soon, and just preparing and be ready. The opportunity to come, just be ready and training.
I think that's the best thing everybody could do these days. That's one other thing that's kind of a little bit interesting, especially for everybody. We got the main event coming up now. This is not your normal type of training session you get because of COVID. You may have a cut down on sparring partners. If you need a specialist like a jiu-jitsu guy to go against, you may not be able to bring in that person to practice with. You may not be able to bring in that sniper type of striker. So we're really seeing these guys, competing with what they really have for all the training that they've done. Sergio's obviously got a great training partner in his brother, but maybe he needed a guy, of a different type of caliber to get ready for this fight. So it's almost a toss-up now to being trained limited in this world we have right now.
Yeah, I think I remember Holloway saying that he trained through Zoom.
Yes.
His entire camp.
Yeah, no sparring, right? Didn't spar for
sparring.
Several months, I think.
Yeah, crazy.
I was doing South Africa, and now I'm going to be able to go to South Africa, and then we do PT here. And I trained some training Kings MMA, and for sure we're doing sparring, the same people, the jiu-jitsu too, and get it different, but you have to adapt the situations.
Yeah, it boils down to how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? If you want it bad enough, that's what I always think about when I'm getting up in my morning runs, and when if I don't want it, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to want it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The team and your team does there, and they're supporting you, but you're out there and you have to want it. It doesn't matter how much, people believe in you.
It's one thing to always say, be ready for the but if you stay ready, you'll the opportunity coming, and then you have the option, and then just be ready for the fight.
I think it's really interesting. A time like this is going to produce, in my opinion, the best champions, because when everything was normal, everyone had access to everything. So if you wanted to travel and go to some of the best camps, if you wanted to go to King's MMA or American Top Team or whoever it might have been, you could do that. Right now, everything's limited. Everything is shut down. So it's going to produce the people, like you said, who want it the most, who train the hardest, who wake up early, who go to bed late. So the people who become champions or maintain their championship status during this time, I think are truly going to be the cream of the crop. There's going to be no mistakes about who the champions are right now. Like the proof is in the pudding,
Oh yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Chris, are you excited for this fight? Bandejas and Pettis?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited to fight.
Have you fought on a card with Ricky, I think, maybe?
The both, I think both I did. Both. Yeah.
Pettis was on the card in LA as well with us.
He got stopped in that fight, didn't he?
He got a stop. She knocked the guy out in the first round.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So he got stopped in that fight. It was an impressive debut for him to come over. I think this is going to be a really good fight. It's going to be a stand-up war. It'll be interesting to see if Sergio takes him to the ground because I think if I just look at their resume, I would think Sergio might be, say, a little more well versed in him with the ground side of it. But it'd be interesting to see them do a stand-up fight because by no means is Ricky a pushover with his stand-up game. So I'm excited because I'm a stand-up fighter. So I love to see a matchup like this. Two guys with good speed, good knockout power. You know what I mean? It doesn't get better than this for me. So
I feel like knowing Duke and how he kind of is approaching us, if he's looking at Ricky, I think he's imagining or they're seeing him as fairly linear. Mm-hmm. Even the ones we broke down, he's smashing you moving forward or he's smashing you moving back. I think we'll see Sergio being very, very circular, very lateral, and trying to keep Ricky from planting his feet.
Yeah, Ricky, I think, has a lot of reach and stuff as well. So I think he's going to try and use that. I think he has more reach than him, so he's going to try and use that to his advantage. So I think Sergio's going to have to use some level changes and, like you said, some different angles in order to close that distance. So and that's the one thing I love about fighting is to see, because fighters are so well versed, but I want to see what strategy they're going to come forward and they're going to be a little bit more aggressive or a little more, just waiting for the shot to happen and stuff, So so it's gonna be great. And this is only a 3-round fight, I believe, not a 5.
Yes.
So, like when Chris, when you were fighting, I saw like your first 3 rounds and then you turn it on in the 4th and 5th round on people because their cardio is sometimes not there. So it'd be interesting to see if, who's applying the pressure because they're both kind of elusive fighters. So it'd be interesting to see who's actually applying that pressure to try to tire the other person out, or will it be just, I think it's going to be a push and pull match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, long time in fighting 3 rounds. You almost have to be ready for 5 rounds. It's good, quick.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, when you're in the kind of shape that you're in, rounds 4 and 5, you're tired, but your opponent is more tired.
Yeah.
Right? That's got to feel pretty good.
I almost feel you get I don't know about you guys, but I get an extra energy burst. Like if I look over at my opponent and they're like, I'm like, you're tired. Like, let me go and finish this. Like, because you're like, if I push a little bit more, they're not able to push the envelope, and then you get the finish, and then it instantly, no matter how tired you were, when you get the finish, you're like, you just erupt with a whole bunch more energy. After you just get, like, I thought you were tired. You're like, but you just like when you see a soccer player and they're running around, they're tired, but then they score a goal. And guess what?
Yeah. I thought you were tired. It's like that was a different lifetime back when I was tired.
So for me, it's always interesting. Fighters are like that too. They'll be dead tired, but you see them when they see the finish is about to happen. You see, ooh, and then they get the finish, and then they erupt even more. They're like, I think it's because they know I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm relaxed.
They can blow that energy because there's no consequence, right? It's
Exactly.
No, there's no consequence, you know.
So you can finish pushing the rest of the tank out. You can go to E and you're not worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
Sergio
Chris,
looks good.
when was the last time you had a 3-round fight?
Oh, me? Man, I tell people I don't get paid by the minute, man. I get paid by the matches. So the quicker I can go in there and get my match over, I'm like, I'm not trying to fight that long, I'm getting older, and so the quicker I go out and do it, the more time I have to do it, Ross. See, that's where my head's at right now.
Chris, you had a 3-rounder against that Canadian girl, didn't you?
What's her name? She just fought. Man.
Felicia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another karate based fight.
She's good.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah. Man, she took a lot of abuse from you. She showed a lot of heart because you put it on her.
It was a long fight. I was actually impressed she made it. It shows her toughness and her heart because, the thing was, people are wondering, like, is she taking it easy? Like, no, Cyborg's hitting her hard.
Chris hit some people once, and that's the end. So she showed a lot of heart.
So let's Amanda too. She stayed 5 rounds, Amanda. Almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like sometimes like when you get used to, like, I don't know about you, Chris, if you've experienced, like, you get used to hitting people and they fall, and then you're hitting this person, you're like, you're landing your best one, like, boom, like, oh yeah, that one was nice, like, she should be, and then you're like, she didn't go down for that, like, you're almost like, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to fall down. Like, when I hit a shot, you can fall. It almost
that's like a nightmare.
Maybe I should. Let me just keep cracking her. Like, I don't know. There's like something wrong with this person. They're not going down. I hit them with a really good shot.
But
you ever like that? Or Ross, you ever hit somebody with your best shot and they just look at you and they kind of smile.
Scary feeling, man. Scary feeling. Well, I can't imagine how. First of all, amazing how Gaethje looked against Tony Ferguson, but he had to have experienced that. Like, how is this guy still here? I couldn't believe the punishment he took in that fight.
And also, think about it, with the law, no crowds, you hear every single thud, every single leg kick, every single thud of the elbow. It's just, you realize how much you miss out with all the crowd noise that's in there.
Yeah. But again, I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier about, like, having somebody around you, have a team around you that knows what's best for you. Well, like the job that Trevor Whitman did with him. Oh my goodness. Like,
brilliant.
just tell him, listen, pull it back a little bit. We'll find it. It'll happen. Just pull it back 70%. Like, man, it's great coaching. Great coaching.
And that's a coach who knows his fighter too. Like, hey, let's just, we could just pull it back a little bit. It's fine. And that's also shows trust. Absolutely.
Chris, who's the corner that you've had that you felt the most connection to in between rounds? Who's been the coach that you've had?
I think I have a nice relationship with all my corners, and when I trained with Jason Perillo, he know me, just look at me, he know what I'm thinking. When I was in South Africa too, and then trained with the guys, Rich One, and I have a nice relationship with them, and we stay so long together, 2 camps, but look like long time each other. And I think when you put someone in your corner, have good relationship already. Then have to put like this. Have to think about important you have the people in your corner. Then they know you, they see you how they feel and everything. They don't have to tell anything in the corner. They know you already. I think this is the most important when they feel in between both the corner and you.
Yeah.
Chris, can I ask a quick favor of you, Chris? Could you greet some of our Portuguese users, welcome them to the stream? There's been a request for it.
Oi, galera aí do Brasil que estão assistindo o stream, vão assistir Bellator ao vivo. Estamos juntos aqui, Nação Cyborg. Em breve estaremos próxima luta aí.
Thank you very much.
Obrigado.
I agree with what Chris is saying, not in Portuguese, but what she was saying right before that. But I think this is really cool right now with the empty crowd, because even when there's crowd going on, you have to have people that you trust. I know that now you can hear the corners a little bit better, but if you are very in tune with your corner, no matter, even if the crowd is going on, you can hear that voice of telling you what, and it is going on around you, but all you hear is that voice coming in your head.
Okay, we're on main event. Chris, our time is 4:52, 4:51, 450. Are you at a similar time? Are you watching it?
Are you watching the fight too at the same time?
That does not go well. Now I have to look at this.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
I like where your head's at there, Chris.
Chris, we'll tell you what's going on.
No,
Sergio's actually pressuring him at the track.
See, this is what I was saying was who was gonna be the pressure, and the other person has to be willing to accept the pressure or not. Those leg kicks, I think, are gonna add up, and it's a great strategy. It's the similar thing that his brother came out with against Stephen Thompson. That Anthony came out with. He was establishing leg kicks in order to slow him down a little bit. He's landed a couple already.
He's taking away his length too. When he's with back against the cage, can't really step. He takes away that step back, and the counter eliminates the counter.
The true right. Oof. Right. Tough one as he's slipping out the other side. The true mark of genius too. He's using a jab and a low kick. Like when you can beat a professional athlete with a jab and a low kick, even for a few minutes, that's a level of genius. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, see how he's countering every time with that low kick to slow him down a little bit. And Sergio's got a woo.
I know you like that, Ray.
Yeah, some Raymond Daniels shit right there.
That's a party to me. Like it ain't a party unless you're throwing spin hook kicks.
That's right. That's right. Ross, I came up in Taekwondo too, and so did Mallory, and you know. So everybody here has thrown some spin and hook kicks in their life. Right. Chris, do you fire off the spin and hook kick sometimes?
Sometimes.
It's really fun to throw. It's really fun. Trust me.
It really is.
Definitely.
It's freeing. You feel free when you throw it.
Yes,
double kick.
You see the quick. He's been setting up because he's been throwing that calf kick, and then so now he can throw the switch off of it, and he's catching every time, and he'll realize that he hasn't attempted to check that one time. So he's going to take advantage of it, shoot it high to make him freeze and then check that leg.
You know, I've always been impressed with both Pettis brothers at the speed of their kicks, both to the body, to the leg, to the head. They're all lightning quick.
Now
watch
check
Sergio. Also, he's keeping him in the headlights. Like watch his feet. Watch his feet. He's the one cornering here. He's the one keeping this man inside. You know, shoehorning him into position.
This is correct. Yes.
And Ricky seems a little stiff right now. You know, that's not him at his best. But, you know, Ricky's a fascinating guy. He'll tell you openly the first few minutes are very uncharacteristically stressful for him. More stressful than Ross Levine or Chris Cyborg or Raymond Daniels. His experience of the first few minutes is very stressful. So it's not uncommon for him to get better after the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, sometimes it's those jitters that get to people. You know what I mean? They're not used to being under those lights, or they haven't had a lot of experience.
It's back.
Ooh, nice. That was beautiful setup.
Yeah, the fake right hand.
It's very bad.
Yeah, the right hand step through.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and a weird off time to it too, like on the and drumming, and you know.
Yeah. He threw the first two punches as flashes to back him up and get his hands high so he could land the spin to the body.
More spins.
Yes.
Spin for the win, gentlemen.
Somewhere the Diaz brothers are saying, are we going to
There's a low kick coming right.
Yep, in 3, 2, 1. Nice. Tried to go for the takedown. Yeah. Interesting that Ricky
can really wrestle. Ricky can really wrestle. Sergio will have sort of the more fluid hips, but Ricky can wrestle, man. See?
Oh, got it.
Nice.
Scooped the leg in with his leg and then wrapped up the hips. See, this will put Ricky in this fight more now.
I think he'll feel a little more confident about this in this situation that he was able to do that.
It'll open up his hands too.
It's true. I mean, now you can't just be free willy with everything you expect him to take down. And now that he's taking him down, like you said, that confidence will build.
I'm not. Back.
You got it?
No, I got it.
All right. Yes.
Yes, Chris is in. Chris, what was it like just listening to people talk about a fight you couldn't see? She felt left out. I don't blame you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's martial arts.
Boys.
Great first round.
Great first round. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm getting another beer.
this is the Friday that is, man. You know, let's see. I have a question for you, Chris. After a really tough battle, and in the ring, what is the recovery like? Come, let's say you fight on Saturday, Sunday morning. How bad are you absolutely hurting? Your legs? Are you icing down all day? What is the recovery like the next day for you?
I think after a fight, maybe a couple hours, you already have some feelings start to hurt. But if you have the victory, you're very excited still. Watch times your fight. After the fight, I didn't sleep. I watched the fights a lot of times, and happy. And the first week, I think a couple of days, I think the body need rest. But when you have the victory, you start to remember, wow, where it hurts this, I hurt that kick. And I had to watch in the fight. But when you win, it's very nice. It's very nice when you remember,
That always eases the pain.
Yeah, it definitely eases the pain. But I always find the funny thing is like when you have like a bruise somewhere, you're like, how did I get a bruise there? Or why does it hurt right here? I don't even remember getting hit right here.
Gotta go back and watch the fight just to figure out why you're sore.
To find that marker.
Right here.
Oh, there was the head kick. You guys remember some weird ones where something hurt from the most incidental thing that the audience would never notice? Like you got a tear in your shin from just some random hook. Those are the worst because you don't even have a cool highlight to show your friends. You just have damage to the body.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that's why it's always good to have a good protocol for recovery. Over at Training Lab, we have a really good one. For all of our fighters in their recovery, whether win, lose, or draw in the fight, we go to a recovery protocol. So it's awesome.
Oh, nice. It's very
Ricky's
important.
a lot more loose.
Yeah. He seemed like he's relaxed a little bit more this round, but he's still not checking that leg kick, and that's going to start to pay dividends for Sergio in a second. He's catching with his instep, but if he catches him one time with his shin, see how that foot is now? He almost
Yeah.
Is that the front leg?
Yes, that's the lead leg.
Left leg, yeah.
That's that lead leg. He hasn't checked it one time, and now his leg is starting to fall asleep. Thus, he's going to lose his power, and then Sergio will be able to land his overhand right now because he's slower on his retreat. He can't step back as fast.
And he's going to go, Chris.
Hard to block. Position his feet now is hard to block. He has to put his feet out a little bit. But he blocked.
He also has to respond to it now. So Sergio can trap him with that.
Yes. Once you establish that calf kick, it takes away. See how he's having trouble going forward with his jab to chase him or to disengage. So his linear movement that you were talking about, he's so good at, is compromised now. And now his right hand doesn't have as much power either because he can't put weight on his lead leg as like he would normally do.
All right. And now Sergio's just trying to slice him up a little here.
You notice Sergio reaching with his right hand a little bit more now because he knows that leg is compromised.
And Sergio chooses to go in and now equalize the threat of that wrestling too. The people also don't realize that's a nerve wound when the calf. Like you, Ross, you've had that, and Chris, that's a nerve wound. It's not like tissue; it's nerve. It's a response of the nervous system. So it's a really rough one.
When it happened to him with Mike Chandler when he lost the title, he got in his ankle went out.
Yeah, for sure.
He's kind of flopping like this, but then there was nothing wrong with it. It was just he had nerve damage from the kick.
It's a wound to the nerve.
Coronal nerve compression. It causes foot drop.
Oh, that's right. We have someone here that does physical therapy. I forgot. This is
right?
Coronal nerve. This is right down the side of the outer part of the ankle. That nerve controls your ability to move that foot up and down. So that nerve compression just shuts the foot off. It just goes to sleep.
This is literally the stream that just keeps on giving. Thank you, Ross.
That's
welcome.
Right.
There you go.
This is his wheelhouse. I forgot about that.
That's right,
guys. I hate to interject. This is so fun. Thank you for doing this. It's all you guys.
Really. Thank you, man.
And thanks for joining us as well, Chris. This is awesome.
Yeah. This is my treat. My fiance is
now we got Bellator.
Chris Cyborg was video chat.
Oh man.
So in the tweet there's they're mentioning the rematch between Chandler and Henderson. I have that one. I'm going to break it down. It's in my computer. Mike was dominant for 4 rounds, and then Henderson just put it on him for the last from minute 20 and 1 second until minute 25. Henderson just put it on Chandler. It's a really great fight. I'm so stoked those guys are fighting again.
Oh yeah, it should be a great matchup.
Yes.
Oh, he hit that nerve one more time, but Ricky's toughing it out, man.
Yeah, he's dead. Ricky's definitely a tough guy. That he could take it away if he switched his base and went to an open stance and went southpaw. Obviously, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. But this is what I was saying earlier: when you're exposed to that calf kick, because they're both in orthodox stance. But if you notice that Pettis keeps turning his shin outward, so he's checking it. So not only is Ricky taking it on his lead calf that he's taking it, every time he tries to throw his, Pettis is turning his shin out, so he's his shin bone.
Pettis just Pez dispensered him with the right hand as he came flying knee, and I'm sure they'll show us the replay of that.
That's
but Ricky, there's moments Ricky gets hit in that leg, and that just shows his will. Tries to kick with that leg, like as he's sort of get kicked, he tries to kick back with it. It's just his will is good, but nerves don't care about your will.
No, not at all.
Right.
You can always revert to the Karate Kid. Get to that crane position. They try to shoot the leg. You hit him with he wouldn't be ready for that. You know, I might try for my next fight. You never know.
Let's see. I have a question to ask. So Chris, we were asking before about live scoring. Ross says he prefers not to have it, to know the live score between the rounds, like they recently did with the Victor. Ray says he'd love to have it. If you had the opportunity to know the scores between rounds, would you want to know the scores
in your fight?
In your fight, yes.
In your fight, when you're fighting.
I don't think I need to know. I think I just they're gonna say it's good for you, Chris. Now you have to put it on, you know. Then they're gonna tell you a little bit. I think it's too much to think. I think, you know.
So there you
That's
go. The
what Ross
tie's been
said.
broken. It looks like no scores. Oh, we got some great replays coming up right now.
He actually didn't catch him there from the back. It looked like he did.
It looked like he did.
So I will say, I agree. Ross and Chris, the two high-level pro fighters, they said they don't want to know the score, but that's just because Raymond Daniels is sort of more psychologically evolved than them. I kid. Nobody smash me in the face, please.
All right.
No binks.
No.
All right, we got the third.
Right back to the cafe, you know. So it's tricky for Ricky. He moved down to American Top Team. Mike Brown is a genius of a coach, perfect for a kid like Ricky, but he's only been with him for a few weeks.
Right.
So his whole kind of game, you know, like his connection to his coaching and to a strategy is a little bit off, whereas Sergio's got a lifetime with his coach, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And then Duke is great at working out strategies, I think, for his fighters. As you see, like Ricky seems like he doesn't know what stance or base to go in right now. So that's because that's starting to affect him a whole lot. Obviously, it's like getting hit there over and over as you see he's pulling back, limping on it. But I think now Sergio's going to start to open up and get a little more creative. As you saw him start to throw like a 540, start 720. I was like, that's definitely my style right there.
Sergio looks good.
Oh, yeah, he looks crisp, man. He looks comfortable right now.
That's the thing, like
Duke.
that
was beautiful.
And he digs it.
And he's going to take the leg again. He's going to attack the leg a couple more times just to slow him down. So he's thinking about the leg just so he can come over with the right hand again.
One other thing
to make matters worse, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mike Brown is still even under quarantine.
I was just going to bring that up, Ross. You're absolutely right.
Even with that minimal amount of time, he doesn't even have that mind cage side for him.
You're
so
right.
That's tough too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I sent Mike a message. I love Mike Brown, man. I was such a fan.
Brown, she hears your voice.
Hey,
Cat Levine. What up?
There's one of the Levine cats.
Yeah.
She's brilliant.
Had to do a cameo.
That's my baby.
How many you got?
I've got two. Yeah, two. I'm surrounded by women. Two girls, and my lovely fiance.
Adorable.
They keep me in line.
I bet. Yeah, you need that. I think.
Whenever this one hears Mallory, she's got to jump in and say what's up.
I haven't even met her yet.
No, you've met her enough on video.
This is true.
I got a feeling, Ross Levine, that you need to be kept in line. So I'm glad you've got them there to do that.
Hey, you know what? And shout out to Maddie for that too, because she is the lady for that job.
Yep.
Man, Ricky's still in it. His eyes are wide open. He's firing off the caught kick. Like, he's in it. It's just he's as we said, like look at the swelling actually on the top of that calf. Can you see it?
That's gonna hurt for a couple of days. It's gonna make it hard to walk. Remember, we were talking about those bruises afterwards. That's one of the ones that sucks. You walk, kind of gotta walk like with a wobble to get around.
Man.
I always feel bad for the fighters that take a ton of leg punishment and then they've got to catch a flight the next day.
Oh,
I know.
That flight home is
Listen,
Chris, you've done that to a lot of people, haven't you?
yeah.
Spinning hook kick.
There you go.
We call that a corkscrew. We go from the leg kick to the spinning hook kick. So if you ever hear my coach say corkscrew, that's our leg kick to spinning hook kick combo, which he just did right there.
If I ever hear your coach say corkscrew, I'll just go like this.
It's so tough for Ricky too, because the answer to the leg kick would be volume, but he just can't put it together because his leg is so damaged already.
Yeah, or a change of the base, because then you take away the leg kick.
Right.
But Sergio's well versed at switching his stances, I would believe.
That's the other issue is the Pettis' fight in. You could call it 3 stances, or you could call it no stances. Left, right, squared, and everything in between. It's either in some ways they fight with no stance, and there is a philosophy that there's no such thing as stance. There's only balance.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like when we talk about a guy like Ray or Page or Wonder Boy, are you ever really in a stance, or are you just in balance with a particular thing forward and a particular thing back?
Rhythm, right? It's rhythm. It's all rhythm. Mm-hmm. It's just that flow, that constant flow of rhythm.
Yep.
You just go where
things like stance and some of these things. These are words we use in sports broadcasting, but they're not actually artistry descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Rick.
That's a smart karate spin off the
right?
Ross.
Yes, it was. We were talking about going back to leg kicks. I was just really getting heavily into MMA when Uriah Faber fought Jose Aldo, and someone told me, hey, Google the picture of the day after, and I saw Faber's leg, and I'm like, oh my, can another leg do that to another leg? It was just hideous. I mean, just.
Well, that's the interesting thing when you really think about it. Like when you remove the terminology and the sports talk and what it is, Ross has taken part of his body and he's using it to smash part of Mallory's body. That's all that really is, ultimately.
I would never do that. I would never do that to Mallory.
I don't believe you. But, look at this.
Yes.
Nice.
That's not talking about that corkscrew.
And credit Ricky, man. He was aware enough to sort of to allow it to sort of flow off of the arm as he kind of sliced through. Otherwise, he'd be still unconscious.
Yeah, that was a great strategy by the Pettis camp of attacking Ricky's leg. I saw it right from the get. Whenever they fight like a fighter that's mobile, when we're talking about that, because they're trying to control the distance and move, he slowed him down with those calf kicks, and I mean, that was an impressive performance from Sergio, especially being the first fight back too, in his second fight with Bellator. He's looking strong. He's definitely making some noise in the division. That's for sure.
So I don't know. I think this was public, and I'm not saying this as an official Bellator statement. I'm just a guy sitting here with my friends talking about fighting. But it sounded to me like it would be Archuleta versus Patrick Mix for the Bellator bantamweight title. But Sergio Pettis just wins a fight while both of those guys are sitting. Maybe Sergio Pettis is in a position to fight for that title.
Yeah, I think Juan will probably be fighting for the title, and so that means I'd most likely be doing a training camp against Pettis if he fight for the title, because I'm pretty confident that Juan's going to go out there and do his thing. He's got a great wrestling pedigree. Stand up is amazing, so it actually honestly be fun to work a game plan against the Pettis brothers. You know what I mean? To work with Juan, because Juan's obviously from my camp and stuff like that. But amazing win from Sergio tonight, man. Great performance.
Really great.
It's awesome to have a fighter like him on the Bellator roster as well. I think You know what I mean? It shows just how great and all around of a competitor martial arts. His last fight got the knockdown, then the submission win. This fight, he got a chance to show a lot of his arsenal off. And I think I love seeing that, because now you see fighters that are very well-rounded, and you can see the true beauty of what martial arts is when you see a fighter like them. And
Bellator adds a Sergio Pettis or a Chris Cyborg, 2 or 3 more like that, you know.
Exactly. So, like I said, I think I'll tell you the truth, and I don't know. I would love to do like a championship series, like a once a year, or say every other year, or every couple of years or whatever, like the Olympics, where you get like a champions of champions champion bracket. Where only if you're a champion in a certain echelon to compete. You know what I mean? So I'm obviously the kickboxing champ. But I'm looking forward to finishing this MMA thing and then going up against Lima, who is the champ. But I'm down to put my medal against his medal. Like, I'll put my championship on the line for yours as well at the same time. And then after I get that title, then I'll talk to Usman about like, yo, what's up? And then Canelo, what's up, Canelo? You know what I mean? You're a champ, right? We can do your rules.
Yeah. Ray gets so stoked when he watches people fight. It's adorable.
I did not tell you I'm going to get 5 miles.
He wants to fight everybody. I fucking love it.
Hey, there was actually a question in the chat for Ray. I'll put it up right now. It was, who was Raymond Daniels' role model?
Who was my role model?
Who was your role model?
Who was my role model? Oh, Neil, I saw your comment earlier as well. Thanks for the compliment on my Bellator knockout in Birmingham. I appreciate that. As far as for me, I had a few different role models. I loved Ali, Roy Jones. Amazing with his ability to move in and out. He had speed, he had power, he had charisma. So I'd say Ali and Roy Jones, where I just watched Ali knockouts and Roy Jones knockouts over and over, just the speed, how they dance. They reminded me of the style that I fought, because I was a sport karate fighter. So I'm about hitting and not being hit. I'm about hitting more than then my opponent hits me, and hitting you with shots that are finishing shots, not just shots that are peppering shots. So those were two of my role models as far as athletes. World.
You bring up something, Roy Jones Jr. I'm going to connect this to Chris in just a second. Roy Jones Jr. just today, they said maybe fighting Mike Tyson in a exhibition bout. Chris, have you been around? I know you trained with Professor Cordero. Have you been around when Tyson has been training at all?
No, I don't have the opportunity, but I know there's amazing training. It's learn a lot too. He says have amazing time with Mike Tyson. I met Mike Tyson when I went to his podcast.
Oh, okay. Those are really interesting. Those are some good podcasts.
The problem is unbelievable watching his training. I don't have the opportunity, but I would like to go watch.
Professor Cordero is such a wonderful coach and such a good man. He invited me in to train when I was in LA, and I trained with one of his main trainers. He's just such a good guy, such a smart martial artist, Professor Cordero.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Guima, have you trained with Guima?
Yes, Guima. Yes. When I fought my first fight in Muay Thai fight and the Lion fight, I trained with Guima. Guima was my corner.
No problem.
Guima trained me, and it was Kelvin Gastelum actually called them and said, "Would you train my friend Robin Black?" Which was so nice. But to see Professor Cordero training Mike Tyson is so cool.
And now for one of the funnier comments that I've seen. Is that Holyfield in the top left? I'm in the top left. I'll take it, Roger. I will take it. I will gladly accept that.
We're gonna change his name.
Let me see your ear. Let me see your ear.
That's why he's got the muffs on, so that way nobody can see.
Exactly.
It is Holyfield.
I'll take that as a compliment, though. I'll take that.
You should. Evander's son Evan actually is looking good. He's young, but I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he looks real good.
Yeah, he's coming up strong.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel that Tyson Roy Jones exhibition.
Yeah.
I don't see it being an exhibition. I think there's ego and I love Roy Jones. I just don't like how that looks for him.
No.
You don't
The
like the
potential-
idea that Mike Tyson starts throwing really hard at a Roy Jones who's having a little fun? Is that kind of what you're? Yeah, I don't like the idea that you're laying out here, Ross.
Yeah, even if Roy Jones wasn't having fun, I don't see at this level. I mean, maybe what I don't see, but I see Tyson's been putting out and ferocious.
Yeah.
And to see, knowing the Roy Jones path that he's been on, I just don't know. I don't see that for
Ross, why you got to bring reality into this?
I know. Everybody's mind was picturing Tyson in his prime and Jones in his prime, and Ross is like right now. I don't know,
Ross
man.
is like, I'm sorry,
Don't
guys.
be
I got to lay
rough.
the real world on you right now.
Let me hit you with the
You're
real
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Everybody who's hung in here with us tonight. This was just an experiment, to get together with my friends Mal and Raymond, who Raymond's one of my favorite martial artists in the world, and we're friends now. And then Ross shows up. CM Punk was here earlier.
Yeah.
Chris Cyborg, the champ, come to join us. It's so nice. Chris, you made this party so much better.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so
Chris.
much. Nice, my pleasure to be
I'm
here.
sure I'll see you around here. Do you still have your Tesla?
Yes, I do.
You still have one? I copied you because I remember I saw you in your Tesla at the dealership, and then we ended up grabbing. Well, my wife, she got one. Her car.
Yeah.
I
The
pretended.
beginning I have a hard time for adjusting, but now I can work on. Sometimes I stay with 0 miles, and I have to charge, but now I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Nice, sweet deal. Yeah, I joined the Tesla club too. But
Nice.
otherwise, thank you guys, man. I appreciate all of you guys.
Absolutely fun. Definitely. Thank you, Chris. I had to text a couple friends of mine. You are one of my friend's favorite fighters. You would always fight, and we would always go to this house for fight parties. And I said, hey, you'll never guess who I'm talking to. He lost his mind, so it was great. So thank you for joining. It's been, hopefully when all is over, I can meet you in person one day. So, I know you definitely made this better. I mean, Robin, thank you to you for inviting me and having this. And Raymond and Ross, you two professionals that are still out there doing this thing. This is great. A lot of people want this to be a habit. Hopefully we can make this happen. I had plenty of fun tonight,
Man,
I make myself available for you guys. I truly appreciate that. And Robin, I still owe you a training session, man. I told Bazooka Joe that as soon as they open the borders, I'm going to drive my butt up there. So I'll definitely be reaching out to you. I go up there a couple times a year when I can, so I'll be up soon.
Nice. Well, guys, I cannot thank you enough. I'm just a martial arts nerd who absolutely loves this shit. And to hang out with you guys and share ideas, and you guys to say nice, kind words about my work is a real treat. And I'd love to do this every show, except I also want to be cage side every show. You can't be in multiple places at one time. But let's do this often, please.
Yeah,
this is a real gift.
This was awesome to be a part of, and I can't think of a better way to bring in Bellator's coming out party, back to the world and stuff like that. So, great experience, you guys. Thank you so much for having us, and I look forward to the next one, but I also look forward to being in the cage and where you guys are viewing it. So,
well, let's sign off.
Thank you, guys.
Chris, thank you again. Having a champ in the house. We had one champ with Daniels. Now we got 2 champs. This was kind of a crappy sausage party till you showed up. So, but thank you, Chris. Really.
Thank you. Nice.
Chris, I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
Yeah, Chris, I'm sure we'll cross paths out here in Orange County at some time doing training or at Tesla charging stations or something.
Yes.
I'm going to say goodbye to our audience who's been joining us, and thank everybody at Bellator, Jordan and Chris and everybody the digital team sending us stuff, and we will definitely do this again. If people dug it, please share it, because maybe we'll come back. Do I get the last words?
Yes, you do. It is up here, and you know what? And you are there. You go. Boom.
No. Nobody needs to see that. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Until next time, enjoy the hostilities, my friends.
Nice. Bye.